I married Xun'er, but she refuses to consummate the marriage. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 151, Fighting Saint Skeleton. Great Heaven Creation Pom. Daddy, please don't eat the rabbit. The source of the tender voice was naturally Xiao Yan, who was sleeping with her eyes closed in Xian's arms. After seeing the pill beast, she was instantly attracted by the cute appearance of the little guy. The 8th grade pill that has been baptized by the 9-color pill Thunder can not only transform into a beast, but also has a strong spiritual intelligence. At this moment, the snow-white little beast that looks like a rabbit seems to understand. It looks at Xiao Yan with big watery eyes, treating her as the only hope of survival. Okay, Xian said she doesn't want to eat it, then don't eat it. Listening to his precious daughter's words, Gu Fei nodded and agreed almost without hesitation. Although this pill beast is very precious and may be upgraded to a 9th grade pill in the future. But for Gu Fei, as long as he can make his daughter happy, even if it is really a 9th grade pill, he can use it to coax his daughter. It's a pity not to eat such a good thing, Yan muttered, looking at Xiao Yan with her black eyes, and Xiao Yan also stuck out her tongue at Yan at this time. Yan can be said to be more doting on this little guy than her biological mother, Xian, so she naturally wouldn't be angry about this. If you don't want to eat it, then don't eat it. Come, I'll keep this little rabbit for Xian. Seeing Xian sticking out her tongue at her, Yan was amused and then volunteered. As Yan's voice fell, the Dan beast immediately grabbed Gu's clothes tightly with its claws. It seemed that it was very resistant to Yan, who had just said she wanted to eat it. Sister Yan, forget it. It won't follow anyone. King Lin laughed at the side. Since Yan likes it, why not let it stay with Yan? Xian's beautiful eyes stared at the snow-white little beast. From this look, it was obvious that she couldn't stand the cute offensive of this little guy. Women always like furry things. Looking at Xian's appearance, Gu Fei couldn't help laughing, and at that moment, he quickly handed the snow-white little beast over. After a slight hesitation, the little fellow also rushed into the arms of the little medical fairy, and then used its furry head to touch the lifesaver. Little Xian, haha. So fun. In the arms of the little medical fairy, little Xian touched the little fellow with her hands and laughed very happily, as if she liked the little fellow rubbing against her. Seeing this, the little Dan beast was also very happy. It knew that as long as it could make little Xian happy, it would not be eaten. At this moment, more and more strong men came around the Dan Palace. Inside the Dan Palace, there were often shouts and scolds of fighting, obviously because they had discovered the treasure and started to fight. However, on Gu's side, because of the strong aura of the Skyfire Venerable, no one dared to come and defend. Let's go. There are other things here. Gu Fei smiled and led everyone to continue forward. Soon, a huge ancient palace appeared in everyone's sight. The whole hall was copper yellow in color. Countless years had made the copper yellow color even deeper. The ancient atmosphere permeated from under each stone slab. The hall was very wide. People standing in it were like ants. In the center of the hall, there were 10 huge balls of light. The balls of light were suspended in the air. In the dazzling light, a scroll-like thing could be seen faintly. In the center of the 10 suspended balls of light, there was a stone seat. On the stone seat, a skeleton with a jade-white body was sitting cross-legged with his hands pinching seals. This should be the skeleton of the owner of the ruins. Those balls of light, they can't be all heaven-level fighting skills. With so many heaven-level fighting skills, we are going to be rich. Looking at the scene in front of them, Xian, Yan and others chatted with each other. How can there be so many heaven-level fighting skills? Hearing this, Gu Fei smiled and shook his head. He pointed at the Cheng skeleton and explained, the real treasure is the remains of the owner of the ruins. After saying that, he gave an instruction and walked towards the main hall alone. There were more than a dozen people gathered in the main hall, but most of them were Zongs. There were only 2 Zun, and they were low-level Zun. When Gu Fei, a high-level Zun, appeared, They all took the initiative to step aside and make way. Walking into the main hall, Gu Fei could see that around the towering stone seat, there were more than a dozen figures sitting cross-legged. These figures were lime-colored and looked like stone sculptures from a distance. They closed their eyes tightly, and it was unknown how many years they had been in this posture. However, even so, these dozen stone sculpture-like figures made everyone dare not step into the 10-foot range around the stone seat. Those who entered now were waiting for the seal on the light ball to disappear. "I don't have time to wait." Gu Fei aimed directly at the Cheng skeleton and approached quickly. His behavior shocked those who had entered this place a long time ago. Under the gaze of the crowd, Gu Fei directly attacked the seal. Although these were seals left by Cheng, the seal power has been very weak with the erosion of time. With Gu Fei's strength as a high-leveled Xun, it is not difficult to destroy the seal. The seal is broken. Grab the treasure. For a moment, those light balls that seemed to contain heavenly fighting skills flew around, attracting everyone to grab, and the battle was very chaotic. However, a few seconds later, the stone puppets around the stone seat were all completely awakened at this moment, and a burst of extremely strong killing aura filled the air. As soon as these puppets woke up, they killed the nearest person. The strength of this group of puppets was all at the Xun level. They attacked at the same time, and the momentum was extremely terrifying. In a short moment, the stone seat was stained with blood within 100 meters, and the strong smell of blood filled the air. "Get out of the way." Gu Fei shook off a puppet blocking in front of him, and then quickly approached the skeleton. But when he got close, Gu Fei did not rush to collect it, but directly sacrificed the strange fire. He knew that there was still a trace of the ancient Cheng's thoughts in the skeleton. If it was stained with blood, that trace of thoughts would control the skeleton and kill everyone. "Sorry." "Refine." The strange fire swept out and wrapped the Cheng's skeleton. The scorching temperature made the color of the skeleton change. This skeleton is the most precious thing in the whole hall. Although the heaven-level fighting skills are not too precious to Gu Fei, more skills are better than less, and the great heavenly creation palm is considered to be a superior one among the early heaven-level fighting skills. As for the bone marrow in the Cheng skeleton, Gu Fei is not very rare. In his ancient clan, there are many places to improve the pure energy. The baptism of the holy altar alone is far from comparable to those few Cheng bone marrow. The reason why he came here to take the Cheng's bones is mostly to fight for some cultivation resources for Xiao and Xun'er. Chapter 152 Returning to the Ancient World, Xun'er's Changes. This person is so strong and still very young. I wonder which force this genius came from. Looking at his appearance, he is probably at the level of a high-leveled Xun. What kind of strange fire did he release? How come I have never heard of it? When Gu Fei used the strange fire to refine the trace of thoughts left in the Cheng's skeleton, some of the treasure hunters noticed this side and were extremely shocked. Although the place became extremely chaotic, no one dared to approach Gu Fei's side. After all, everyone is not a fool. They come here to seek treasures, not blindly to the point of risking their lives. Collect. After a few breaths, Gu finally destroyed the trace of thoughts in the Cheng's skeleton. The skeleton left by the Cheng was collected into his storage ring without any hindrance. After taking the skeleton, Gu no longer paid attention to the other people in the hall, and walked out leisurely to meet up with Xiao and others. "Brother Gu, why didn't you take any of those treasures, but took the corpse instead?" Yan had been watching the situation in the hall before, and asked in surprise. "This corpse is the treasure. When it's refined, I'll give you more to eat." PFFT. I don't eat corpses. Little medical fairy sister, look, Brother Gu actually wants me to eat the thing. Yan thought Gu wanted her to gnaw bones, and the bones of people who had died many years ago. Suddenly, her scalp tingled and she hid. Hee, let's go. There's nothing good here. Seeing Yan's fear, Gu smiled and then led everyone away from the ancient ruins. The edge of the beast domain. In a cave, Gu took out the bones he had obtained before. This thing did not have the rough feeling of bones at all. Instead, it felt like the most perfect jade, smooth and cool, giving people an extremely wonderful touch. "Ah, Brother Gu, you don't really want to." Seeing this scene, Yan hid behind little medical fairy again. Yan, Gu will not let you eat bones. This is a Cheng strongman. Even if there is only a corpse,
The energy contained in it is quite extraordinary. Goof should refine the essence of energy. Elder Zhu explained with a smile beside Yan. Elder Zhu is right. Dao Yixian, take Xian away, Goof instructed, and then began to sacrifice the strange fire and cover the corpse. In the cave, as Goof sacrificed the strange fire, the temperature soared, and even the air quickly became dry. The strange fire continued to burn the corpse, and the bones gradually turned into a jade-white color, like a piece of beautiful jade. Later, the jade-white color of the ribs slowly faded, and was replaced by a deep dark gold color. Goof understood that this thing was the most critical step in practicing the Great Heaven Creation Palm. The next moment, Goof directly stretched out his finger and inserted it into the liquid. The accident suddenly increased. The liquid suddenly began to wriggle violently, then tightly wrapped around Goof's fingers, instantly wrapping his palm. Hiss! The dark golden liquid wrapped around his entire right palm, and a pain came. Under the wrapping of the dark golden liquid, Goof's palm actually began to wriggle strangely, and even faintly. There was a sound of bones squeezing. Husband, brother Goof. Seeing this scene, Kair, King Lin and others were very panicked, worried that Goof would get into trouble. It's okay. Goof forced a smile from the corner of his mouth. His physical strength is comparable to that of the ancient dragon and phoenix in the late 8th stage of this world, and is not inferior to Elder Zili who has the cultivation of a semi-saint. He can still withstand such a tempering intensity. Not long after, the severe pain stopped abruptly, and the dark golden liquid, like a tide, seeped into his hand and disappeared quickly. And then, Goof's consciousness entered a strange space. Somewhere in this void space, there, a figure stood with his hands behind his back. Goof knew that this was a memory fragment left by the Saint of Creation and the fighting skills. The Great Heaven Creation Palm, a low-level fighting skill of the heavenly rank, was created by me after a lifetime of efforts to integrate hundreds of fighting skills. This palm method emphasizes the meaning of creation, breaking the sky with a palm and crushing everything with force. The figure spoke in a plain voice like a self-narration. You are a destined person to get the secret hidden in my bones. Remember, the Great Heaven Creation Palm must be performed with a tempered palm, otherwise, it will be backfired. As the plain voice slowly sounded, the figure suddenly burst into a faint fluorescence, and its body unexpectedly became transparent, revealing a very clear meridian route inside, and in those meridians, a trace of dark golden energy shuttled rapidly. This is the meridian route for practicing the Great Heaven Creation Palm. Seeing this scene, Goof quickly concentrated his mind and firmly remembered the energy route in the figure in his mind. As the meridians faded, the light on the figure's body dissipated again, and the dark golden light on his palm suddenly became stronger. Then he swung his palm fiercely and landed heavily on the void. Bang! As the palm fell, a terrible energy suddenly swept out like a storm, and a huge black light circle formed again under the palm of the figure. The light circle took shape, and then spread out like lightning, and the surrounding space collapsed like glass that was forcibly shattered. It is worthy of being created by integrating hundreds of fighting skills. This palm method is first class among the primary heavenly level. After mastering the Great Heavenly Creation Palm, Goof couldn't help but feel a little admiration for the ancient fighting saint who created this fighting skill. His consciousness also dissipated with the figure and returned to reality. After the scene just now, it seemed that several extremely secret and thin meridians were opened up in his palm. These meridians are connected to each other, like a strange cycle, which is extremely magical. It seems that young friend Goof has obtained some inheritance from this skeleton. Congratulations! Elder Zhu saw the secret and congratulated him with a smile. At the same time, Elder Zhu also admired Goof's extensive knowledge. Even he had not discovered the secret hidden in this skeleton before. It's just a primary heaven-level fighting skill, so. Goof was not very excited. After all, he was born in the ancient clan. The heaven-level fighting skill was not too precious to him. Now it was just one more means to fight the enemy. Next, Goof led everyone to leave the beast domain and began to return to the ancient world. A month later, everyone returned to the ancient world again, but this time, there was one more person, The third elder Zhu Li of Donglong Island also followed. It really deserves to be the ancient world. On a black warship, Elder Zhu Li couldn't help but smack his lips. Because it was his first time to the ancient world, even with his knowledge, he couldn't help but admire it. Brother Gu Fei, you are finally back. An ethereal voice suddenly came from the mountains outside the warship. Then, in the sky above the mountains ahead, a graceful figure stepped on the clouds, her skirt fluttering, like a fairy in the clouds, with a sense of ethereality, stepping on the clouds, and finally floating outside the warship where Gu Fei and his party were. Xun'er at this time seemed to have changed a lot from before. In her every frown and smile, she was filled with confidence, without any sense of humility. Chapter 153 Xun'er, if I hadn't divorced, I would have had a child too. In the sky, Xun'er stepped on the clouds, not only showing her beauty, but also telling everyone that she is now a genuine Zong strongman. Now, her face is full of the confidence and etherealness before she married Gu Fei. Below, many young people of the ancient clan were attracted by Xun'er's beautiful face and extraordinary temperament. On the black warship, the others were briefly silent because of Xun'er's appearance. Brother Gu Fei's ex-wife seems to be a little different from before. This woman's cultivation progress is quite fast. She was the same as me before. It's only been a year, and she has reached Zong, the daughter of the ancient clan. This cultivation talent is really good. No wonder my husband married her before. However, she has that kind of estrangement with my husband. If she wants to get her husband's love again, I'm afraid there is no chance. Now Yixian, Ziyan, Kair and others didn't speak, but they had a lot of psychological activities. The temperament that Xun'er showed now did evoke some memories of Gu Fei. But that's all. Daddy, are we there yet? Suddenly, a childish voice broke the brief silence. In the arms of the little medical fairy, Xian, who had been sleeping in a daze, woke up after hearing Xun'er's voice and rubbed her eyes with her little hands. Xian is awake. Come, let Daddy hold you. We are almost home. Gu Fei took the child from the little medical fairy with a smile. His attention was all attracted by the little Xian, and he didn't look at Xun'er again. Great, Rabbit, we are home. The little Xian waved happily, and the furry Dan beast also jumped over very sensibly and rubbed the little guy with its head. Is this his child? It's quite cute. Xun'er, who was ignored by Gu Fei, kept her eyes on the little guy. Looking at the cute appearance of the little guy, she subconsciously smiled, but soon, bitterness gradually rose in her heart. If I hadn't separated from Brother Gu Fei, would I have such a cute child now? Xun'er fell into memories. Gu Fei and his group got off the warship and headed directly towards the small mountain. After a while, Xun'er looked at Gu Fei's departing back, and the dejection on her face subsided again. As long as I persist, Brother Gu Fei will accept me again one day. At least, I can feel that the look in her eyes when she looked at me just now is not as disgusting as before. On Gu Fei's small mountain, Sister Ziyan, Bunny, wait for me. As soon as Gu Fei and his group returned to the mountain, Ziyan planned to go down to the ground for a walk by herself, and then chased and played with the Dan beast. The strange thing is that Ziyan, who is so old, actually mixed with the two little guys. It's time to extract the Cheng bone marrow. Gu Fei, on his side, took out the Cheng skeleton again not long after returning. Then, the strange fire was sacrificed and the raging fire tightly covered the corpse. After burning for 2 hours, the corpse gradually turned gray. Gu Fei put his palm into the flames and then lightly tapped his fingers. Puff. After his finger touched the gray skeleton, there was a puff sound, and the skeleton softened and turned into a piece of gray ashes. After all the ashes fell, 10 drops of milky white gelatinous substances about the size of a thumb floated in front of Gu Fei's eyes. These 10 gelatinous substances were very small in size, and on their surface, there was a layer of gelatinous substance. Through the gelatinous substance, one could faintly see the liquid flowing in it, and a huge amount of energy quietly seeped out. Next, Gu Fei took out a jade bottle from the ring, put 9 Cheng bone marrow gelatinous particles into it, and then picked up the last one with his fingers and put it into his mouth without hesitation. As soon as the gelatinous particles entered his mouth, they melted almost instantly. Then, a pure energy poured down Gu Fei's throat and flowed to Gu Fei's limbs and bones. With such a huge amount of energy pouring in, Gu Fei immediately began to practice the exercises to refine it. An hour later, Gu finally digested the bone marrow energy completely. His cultivation improved a little, and he seemed to be closer to the 9-star Xun. A bone marrow gel particle is comparable to an 8th grade elixir that can improve cultivation, and the side effects are much smaller than the elixirs. Elder Zhuli, go call Yan over. Next, Gu Fei did not continue to refine Sheng bone marrow. This thing was no longer useful to him, but it was a magical medicine for low-leveled Xun and those below Xun. In the original work, Brother Lucky only took 1 pill and broke through from a 1-star Xun to a 2-star. Thank you, little friend Gu Fei. On the side, Elder Zhuli seemed to understand Gu Fei's purpose and nodded heavily. The only purpose of his coming to the ancient world with Yan this time was to let Yan absorb the Dragon Phoenix Origin fruit safely in this ancient world. But now, Yan's cultivation is too low. Taking the Dragon Phoenix Origin fruit, the chance of success is very low. The higher the cultivation, the greater the success rate. Ah, this thing is really refined from the bone. After a while, Yan was called over by Zhuli. She looked at the bone marrow colloid particles handed by Gu Fei, and then looked at the ashes scattered on the ground, and seemed a little reluctant. Don't want to eat it? Forget it. Seeing this, Gu Fei did not force it. This kind of good thing, most people want it, but they can't beg for it. Yan, don't make trouble. This is a good thing. Eat it quickly. Elder Zhuli persuaded Yan anxiously. Okay. Hearing this, although Yan was still a little reluctant, she quickly reached out and snatched the colloid particles from Gu Fei's retracted fingers. I swallowed it. Next, Yan closed her eyes and swallowed the Sheng bone marrow like swallowing a whole fruit. The next moment, her face instantly flushed red due to the huge energy in her body. The sudden influx of such terrible energy caused Yan's body temperature to rise rapidly, and even bursts of white smoke rose from her head. Fortunately, Yan was of the royal bloodline of the Taixu ancient dragon clan, and her body was strong, so she could temporarily withstand the baptism of this energy. Sit down and concentrate. Gu Fei's voice rang in Yan's ears, and she did it without hesitation. Soon, she felt a warm palm on her body, and then, the huge energy began to be controlled by another energy and operated in a very orderly manner. At the same time, Yan felt that her cultivation level, like drinking water, began to rise. In just one day, she had risen from the early 6th level to the late 6th level. Moreover, there were signs of breaking through to Zong. At this time, Gu Fei stopped helping and let Yan break through naturally. Chapter 154 Yan, Brother Gu Fei, I want more. Only when one breaks through naturally can one have a solid foundation. Although Gu Fei's help to Yan will make her breakthrough faster, it will leave many hidden dangers for her future. Seeing Yan getting into the state, Gu Fei set his eyes on Xun'er, Yuan and others. These are for you. You will also have countless benefits after refining them. After Gu Fei finished speaking, he distributed some of the remaining Sheng bone marrow granules to everyone. The Lion King looked at Gu Fei with burning eyes, feeling a little nervous and uneasy. Will there be any for me? Everyone hopes that they can get some opportunities that will make their strength advance by leaps and bounds, especially for those like the Lion King who are not very talented and may stop at the 7th level in this life. They are more eager for opportunities. Are you worried that there will be no share for you? Xun'er's voice suddenly sounded in the Lion King's ears. As a fellow demon beast, Xun'er could see the Lion King's nervousness at a glance. You have followed your husband for a long time. Don't you know what kind of person your husband is? After Xun'er finished speaking, she looked at Gu Fei with tenderness. At this time, Gu Fei also came in front of the two. One Chenglu flew to Xun'er's hand, and another flew to the Lion King. Is it for me? The Lion King was a little unbelievable. Of course, refine it quickly. Gu Fei smiled. Thank you, Master. The Lion King was filled with surprise. After thanking Gu Fei, he began to refine the Chenglu. Not only the Lion King, but also the Skyfire Venerable, except for the young Zhao Zian and Zhuli who had already reached the level of a semi-saint. Everyone else present got the Chenglu and immediately began to refine it. After a long time, a powerful energy suddenly burst out, and the strong breath swept across the mountain peaks. Some branches of the trees were even directly broken by the air wave. Yan has broken through. The movement came from Ziyan's breakthrough. In order to prevent it from affecting others, Gu Fei quickly isolated the air wave. After completing the breakthrough, Ziyan's expanding breath gradually converged, and finally all of it was contained in her body and restored to calm. Ziyan opened her eyes and immediately saw Gu Fei in front of her. Golden light flashed in her eyes. "Brother Gu Fei, do you still have that Cheng bone marrow granule? You know what? It tastes really good." Ziyan rushed to Gu Fei and started to eat it directly. Seeing this, Gu Fei pressed her little head and said, "Does that thing have a taste?" "I don't want to expose you." It was obviously the sweetness of a breakthrough in strength that fascinated Ziyan. "As for the taste of this thing, sugar pills are countless times better than it." Ziyan smiled hee when she heard it. Just now, she was extremely disgusted with the things refined from the bones of the dead, but now her attitude has changed 180 degrees. "I can give you another one. This thing can certainly quickly improve your cultivation, but you can't rely on it too much. Otherwise it will make your foundation weak and it will be very difficult to improve your strength in the future," Gu Fei reminded solemnly. Ziyan also understood, nodded obediently, stretched out 3 fingers and said that she would never become dependent. Gu Fei then gave Ziyan the second granule, and Ziyan smiled and walked aside to continue refining. After Ziyan, Xun'er finished refining. Xun'er had a strong body and was strong, so she naturally refined very quickly. Her progress was also very obvious. After Xun'er, Yuan, King Lin and others also woke up one after another. Their strengths all improved to different levels, among which King Lin was the most obvious. Her strength was originally the weakest among the group, so she naturally gained the most. Now, the little girl who followed Gu Fei has also reached the Zong level. The power of Cheng is really terrifying. If I could get more of those bone marrow colloid particles. The Lion King couldn't help but sigh after waking up, but he was also satisfied. Gu Fei was able to give him one, which was a great gift from heaven. "The sooner you come into contact with the power of Cheng, the better it will be for you," Gu Fei said to everyone. Next, everyone looked at Ziyan, who absorbed the second Cheng bone marrow colloid particle. With the experience of the first time, Ziyan absorbed it easily this time. After just a few hours, her aura stabilized after breaking through again and again. She had broken through to the 7th level before, and now she has reached the late 7th level. This speed is amazing. Ziyan has saved several years of hard work by getting this opportunity. Julie sighed on the side. He also wanted to step into the real Cheng as soon as possible and feel the power of Cheng. Under the gaze of everyone, Ziyan slowly opened her eyes and exhaled a breath of turbid air. "Huh? You have all finished refining. Why are you looking at me?" Ziyan looked around herself, thinking that there was something strange about her. "Everyone thinks you are cute and can't bear to look away." Gu Fei teased Ziyan, and Ziyan pretended to be shy. "Well, you have made a big breakthrough in your strength now, and it's time to refine the Dragon Phoenix Origin Fruit." Gu Fei put away his joking attitude and became serious. The Dragon Phoenix Origin Fruit will be Ziyan's greatest opportunity in this life, and no one can relax at any time. Ziyan also understood this truth, and she showed an unprecedented solemn expression. "Sister Ziyan is like a different person," King Lin whispered softly on the side. "Ziyan is usually carefree, but she is actually sensible," Xun'er said softly. "Elder Zilai." Gu Fei looked at Zilai. Zilai was slightly stunned and hesitated. "Is it too early to refine it now?" "Don't worry, there will be no problem." Seeing Gu Fei's insistence, Zilai said nothing more. "The situation of the Taixu ancient dragon clan is not optimistic now, and it is indeed urgent to give birth to a super strong man." He stretched out his hand, and the Dragon Phoenix Origin Fruit appeared in his hand. "Ziyan, this is related to the rise and fall of the Taixu ancient dragon clan. You must be careful." Ziyan nodded vigorously and stretched out her hand to take the Dragon Phoenix Origin Fruit. The moment she just touched the Dragon Phoenix Origin Fruit, the Dragon Emperor Origin Fruit immediately turned into a ball of purple and gold liquid and entered her body. At the same time, a terrifying energy was surging in Ziyan's body, constantly impacting her body, bringing Ziyan endless pain while gradually merging into her flesh and blood. "Focus on it. Calm your breath and concentrate your mind. You only need to absorb the Dragon Phoenix Origin Fruit," Gu Fei reminded. Everyone else also held their breath, not daring to disturb Zi Yan at all. Zi Yan tried her best to resist the energy shock. After it finally calmed down, she immediately started to practice and began to absorb the energy. This power was too terrifying. Zi Yan only absorbed a little bit, and the aura that had just broken through and stabilized immediately began to fluctuate, and even rushed directly to the 8th level. Seeing this, Julie was extremely excited. The Taixu ancient dragon clan will usher in a new prosperity. Our clan will continue to maintain the title of the most powerful magic beast race in the Qi continent. The Taixu ancient dragon clan has been in chaos for many years. Now the royal bloodline has reappeared and absorbed the dragon phoenix origin fruit. This is their hope. Maybe in the future, Zi Yan's achievements will surpass the old Dragon King. Chapter 155. The Thunder Clan delegation arrives and wants to marry Xun'er. I hope everything goes well. Compared to Julie's optimism, Gu Fei, who was originally full of confidence, frowned slightly. At this moment, he did not dare to relax at all. He knew that the energy contained in the Dragon Phoenix origin fruit was very terrifying, comparable to the entire qi in the body of a forged hard-shank strongman. And it would definitely not be so easy for Zi Yan to absorb it. Now Zi Yan has only absorbed the most superficial layer. Sure enough, after absorbing some of the energy of the Dragon Phoenix origin fruit, the overflowing energy not only did not decrease, but it burst out again. Boom! With a dull sound coming from Zi Yan's body, her whole body was wrapped in purple and gold energy. In fact, the energy has turned into liquid and seeped out, shuttling between Zi Yan's flesh and blood. Her body can no longer withstand so much energy, which leads to overflow. The overflowing energy is crystallizing. King Lin suddenly exclaimed. She felt that Zi Yan's arm had begun to solidify. If the energy cannot be absorbed in time, she will eventually be sealed by this energy, like a bug in amber. Gu Fei's face was extremely solemn. Zi Yan's face changed from bright to dark. She had been smiling all the time, but now she showed a painful expression. The surging energy in her body almost burst her body. Before this, the Dragon Phoenix origin fruit had appeared several times, but in history, it has only been successful twice. Julie frowned, very worried. The success rate of absorbing this thing is so low. Hearing this, Kai looked at Julie in surprise, and then looked at Zi Yan, her eyes full of worry. Of these 2 times, the Dragon Phoenix origin fruit was obtained by the Sky Demon Phoenix clan. They successfully absorbed the Dragon Phoenix origin fruit and gave birth to a super strong man. During that time, our Taixu ancient dragon clan was suppressed by the Sky Demon Phoenix clan, but fortunately, a few hundred years later, our ancient dragon clan also successfully obtained a Dragon Phoenix origin fruit. The predecessors of our clan successfully absorbed it, which turned the disadvantage around. Unfortunately, in a bloody battle between the 2 clans later, the 2 strong men with super bloodlines died together. Thinking of the records in the secret history of the Taixu ancient dragon clan, Julie began to doubt himself. He looked at Zi Yan, who was in great pain in front of him, and regretted that he should not let Zi Yan absorb the Dragon Phoenix origin fruit now. It was too early for Zi Yan to absorb this treasure now. Gu Fei saw Julie's worry and comforted him. Elder Julie, don't worry, since I dare to let Zi Yan refine the Dragon Phoenix origin fruit now, I have full confidence. After speaking, Gu Fei immediately sat cross-legged behind Zi Yan, put his hands on Zi Yan's back, and the strange fire appeared, wrapping Zi Yan in it. His strange fire, which fused the Azure Lotus Earth Core Fire, the Sea Heart Flame, the Fallen Heart Flame, and the 3000 Flames, was very powerful and was enough to refine the Dragon Phoenix crystal produced by the excess energy. With him, there was no need to worry about Zi Yan being wrapped in the crystallized energy. There was no need to worry that the excess energy would burst Zi Yan's body and die. He was Zi Yan's last line of defense. Gu Fei's soul power spread, and he was very focused, trying his best to control the temperature of the strange fire. To ensure that the temperature will not hurt Zi Yan in the slightest, it can also help her refine the Dragon Phoenix origin energy that has solidified into crystal. This requires extreme control over the strange fire, and even Gu Fei needs to concentrate. With the help of Gu Fei, the overflowing energy will turn back into liquid after solidification, and flow back into Zi Yan's body at the right time. and reintegrate into her flesh and blood. In the process of helping Yan absorb, the strange fire will naturally refine some of the energy for Gu Fei to use. Gu Fei did not intend to rob Yan of her opportunity, but there was too much overflowing energy. If all of it was stuffed into Yan's body, it would only make Yan feel very painful. Gu Fei's appropriate absorption will not affect Yan, and it can also share the pressure for Yan. Moreover, for him, the energy of the Dragon Phoenix Origin Fruit is also a good opportunity. With the help of brother Gu Fei, Yan's complexion looks much better. King Lin was worried about Yan. Mother, sister Yan will be fine. Now Xianlu was lying in the arms of Xiao Yan. Hearing the conversation between the few people, he was also worried about Yan. Don't worry, Yan will be fine. Didn't you see that daddy is also helping? With your daddy here, any trouble can be solved. Xiao Yan touched Xianlu's head and asked her to relax. At this moment, the terrifyingly pure energy of the Dragon King Origin Fruit continued to surge on the Gu Fei mountain. Huh? The power of the Taixu ancient dragon clan. No, there is even a heavenly demon phoenix. Deep in the ancient Saint Mountains, in a palace, Gu Fei's grandfather, the Black Annihilation King Gu Lai, felt this breath and immediately captured the source of the breath. As a result, he found that it appeared on Gu Fei's mountain. He knew that Gu Fei had a friend from the Taixu ancient dragon clan. With doubts in his heart, Gu Lai came to the vicinity of the mountain and saw Gu Fei helping Yan refine the Dragon Phoenix Origin Fruit. Such pure energy. This is a great opportunity. Gu Lai looked at Yan. Even a person like him couldn't help but sigh after feeling the terrifying energy in Yan's body, and his face showed surprise. Yes, and this is a unique opportunity for the Warcraft clan. Suddenly, a voice sounded beside Gu Lai, and a floating shadow appeared. It was Gu Yuan. He also sensed the abnormality and then descended here. This little girl will definitely achieve extraordinary success in the future. She and Gu Fei have a deep friendship, which is also a good thing for our Gu clan. Gu Lai smiled and nodded. Even with Gu Fei's help on Gu Fei Mountain, the refining time still lasted for a long time. Gu Fei's ability could not withstand such a terrible consumption. Fortunately, Gu Fei carried a lot of recovery pills that he had refined in advance and kept taking drugs while helping Yan refine, which barely supported the strange fire. The whole process lasted for more than a month, and the surging energy in Yan's body was a little stable. Gu Fei's pressure became much less, and he also gained a lot in helping Yan refine for more than a month. He felt that he was only one step away from the 9-star zone. As long as he wanted, he could even step directly over. Is it done? Julie asked when he saw that Gu Fei's expression was no longer solemn and Yan's breath was much more stable. It will take some time for Yan to come out of retreat, but there should be no problem. Gu Fei breathed a sigh of relief. Suddenly, he felt dizzy. He had been tense these days, and it consumed not only his fighting spirit, but also his energy and mental strength. Fighting spirit can be taken with drugs, but energy recovery requires natural rest. At the same time, in the ancient world, the delegation of the Thunder Clan visited. There were 7 people from the Thunder Clan, 2 of whom were elders of the Thunder Clan, and their strength had reached the level of Sheng. The remaining 5 were some young people. Among the young people, the leader was called Lei Dong. Now, he was only 30 years old, but his cultivation had reached the level of half-saint. It can be said that he crushed the other young generations. The purpose of the Thunder Clan's visit this time was also very simple, that is, to ask for marriage, and wanted Lei Dong to marry Xun'er, the daughter of the head of the ancient clan. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 156, Xun'er feels a sense of superiority. The ancient tribe, on a beautiful mountain. This is the reception place arranged by the ancient tribe. In the pavilion at the center of the mountain, several young men in silver shirts attracted a lot of attention. These young men all wore silver fur and looked very energetic. The silver fur was very bright under the sunlight, like the traces of lightning across the sky. faintly flashing with terrifying thunder energy, with a demeanor of awe without anger. And these young men are all from the Thunder clan. The Thunder attribute fighting spirit is really overbearing. Yes, even Brother King Yang lost to Lei Dong. Has the Thunder clan reached this point now? In the hall, many young people from the ancient tribe talked about it, and they were in awe of these young people from the Thunder clan, especially for the one who led them. There was even some admiration in their eyes, which was a natural emotion for the strong. This person was the first of the young generation of the Thunder clan, Lei Dong. Brother Lei Dong, this ancient tribe is known as the strongest ancient race, but the strength of this young generation is just so-so. A person next to Lei Dong flattered. Yes, looking at the 8 ancient tribes, who can compare to Brother Lei Dong? Even among all the ancient tribes, Brother Lei Dong is the #1 prodigy. What ancient tribe and soul tribe? They will be trampled under the feet of Brother Lei Dong in the future. Okay, we are now guests of the ancient tribe. You are telling such a big truth, which will make us look very rude, the man named Lei Dong said. From his tone, it can be heard that the younger generation of the ancient tribe is not taken seriously by him. When some young people of the ancient tribe heard what Lei Dong said, they immediately became red in anger, but then they thought that their talents were indeed not as good as theirs. Are they going to be humiliated like this? With Lei Dong's support, other children of the Lei tribe treated the young people of the ancient tribe with even more contempt. I heard that the strongest person in the Gu clan is Gu Fei, and he is also Miss Xun'er's ex-husband. I wonder how strong he is. Do I need to think about it? Brother Lei Dong only needs one finger to deal with Gu Fei. One finger is too much, right? Brother Lei Dong is a half-saint. Anyone below the half-saint level can be destroyed with one thought. The children of the Lei clan around him insulted Gu Fei, but Lei Dong frowned slightly, looking a little unhappy. Gu Fei. He whispered the name in his heart, with a bit of teasing and contempt in his eyes, but more of jealousy. He knew that Gu Fei was Xun'er's ex-wife, and Gu Fei was Xun'er's fierce husband. After all, the two of them were husband and wife in name, and it was inevitable in daily life. Thinking of this, Lei Dong's eyes became a little cold, but he relaxed in the next second. Fortunately, he already knew that although Xun'er had been married, she was still innocent. Lei Dong had the honor of looking into Xun'er's eyes. At that time, Xun'er's clear and bright eyes, as well as her beauty that could make the world pale in comparison, made Lei Dong deeply fascinated by her. So even though Xun'er had been married once, he didn't care. As long as he could be with Xun'er, everything was enough. Xun'er, I heard that Lei Dong is infatuated with you. You are so lucky. At this age, he has become a semi-saint, and he is also the heir to the chief of the Lei clan. If you marry him, you will be the chief's wife in the future. The wife of the chief of the Lei clan. What an honor. Xun'er also learned about the arrival of the Lei clan envoys and the purpose of their visit, but she never cared about it. Just now, she heard some women in the clan say some words of envy for her, but Xun'er didn't think it was a big deal. Indeed, reaching the semi-saint level at the age of 30 is already a rare genius, but this talent is nothing in Xun'er's eyes. At least compared with Gu Fei, Lei Dong is not as good as Gu Fei. Age is an irreversible gap. No matter how powerful Lei Dong is, he can't change the fact that he is 30 years old. But Gu Fei is only 22 years old this year, and Lei Dong is 7 or 8 years older than him. The difference of 7 or 8 years only widens such a gap. Xun'er feels that with Gu Fei's talent, his achievements will definitely be higher than Lei Dong's when he is the same age. In fact, it doesn't even take that long. When I was in seclusion, he was already a 4-star Xun. Now that I have entered Zong, I think he won't be too weak. Xun'er unconsciously clenched her fists, and wanted to fight with Gu Fei in her heart. Of course, Lei Dong's proposal this time always made Xun'er feel a little superior. You have excellent people around you, and I am not bad. The people of the Lei clan are a little arrogant. What can we do about being arrogant? We can't let the elders of the clan teach them a lesson just because of the competition between the younger generation. We are indeed inferior to them in skills. Gu Qingyang had a helpless smile on his face, and Gu Yao and Gu Zhen beside him also looked embarrassed. Occasionally, a Thunder clan disciple passed by, and they were too embarrassed to look at him. It turned out that when the young generation of the Thunder clan just arrived at the ancient clan,
They threatened to compete with the young people of the ancient clan, and said that they had no rivals in the ancient clan. The young people of the ancient clan were also the pride of heaven, and this was their home court. How could they swallow their anger when being humiliated like this? So, a large number of young people from the ancient clan swarmed out to compete with the children of the Thunder clan. Top talents such as Gu Yao and Gu Hei Yan also came to support them, and they couldn't let the ancient clan lose face. At the beginning, it was all ordinary children of the family who competed. Both sides had their wins and losses, tit for tat, and it was quite entertaining. The whole scene was full of fierce confrontation. This situation only lasted until Lei Dong appeared. Lei Dong came as a semi-saint and completely swept the young talents of the ancient clan. After all, the semi-saint was stained with the word saint, and a group of Xun'er were no match for him. Seeing that none of the children of the family could resist, Gu Hei Yan, as the strongest person on the scene, could only bite the bullet and fight. In the end, there was no suspense. In front of the semi-saint, Gu Hei Yan had no chance of winning and was defeated miserably. Even you lost. Who else can be his opponent? Gu Zhen sighed and shook his head. Are our generation of Gu clan youth going to be completely trampled under the feet of the Thunder clan's children? Gu Yao looked at Lei Dong, who was enjoying the cheers with pride, and his heart was full of unwillingness. The look in Gu Hei Yan's eyes kept changing, and after a long time, it suddenly became clearer. Maybe there is someone who can help us save face, Gu Hei Yan said. Who? Gu Zhen asked doubtfully. Goof. When everyone heard this name, they suddenly showed a look of realization. Goof usually doesn't like to show off, but his strength is obvious to all. At the beginning, he defeated Gu Hei Yan to become the 7th commander. Later, he even challenged all the way and directly became the commander-in-chief of the Black Annihilation Army. Goof is the real #1 among the young people of the Gu clan. I wonder if Goof can be Lei Dong. Gu Hei Yan's eyes were full of expectation, hoping that Goof could win back face for the Gu clan. Chapter 157 Yan breaks through. Whoever wants to compete with Brother Goof must pass me first. But at this point, Goof was only a Xun. Facing Lei Dong, the semi-saint, Gu Hei Yan had no confidence. No matter if he can beat us or not, how can we know if we don't give it a try? Gu Yao made the decision directly, and then stood up to find Goof. Since the commander competition, Gu Yao has admired Goof very much and regarded Goof as the goal he pursued in his life. In his heart, Goof is the undisputed #1 of the younger generation. Anyway, let's go and try it first. Gu Hei Yan followed Gu Yao and rushed to the mountain where Goof was. The mountain where Goof was. Yan's absorption of the Dragon Phoenix Origin fruit has come to an end, and she no longer needs Goof's help. Goof got a day of leisure and made up for the energy he consumed in the previous month. When Yan comes out of retreat this time, she should look very different. Goof looked at Yan, who was still absorbing energy, and recalled the mature girl he had seen briefly in the Dan realm before, and smiled lightly. After completely absorbing the Dragon Phoenix Origin fruit, Yan will grow up physically. Someone. Goof looked outside and felt several figures rushing towards here quickly. Immediately, he flashed and immediately appeared above the mountain. Is it them too? Goof saw the identity of the visitor clearly, and there was a trace of doubt in his eyes. Why are you rushing here? Gu Hei Yan, Gu Yao, and Gu Zhen heard the words, looked at each other, and smiled helplessly. To be honest, the Thunder clan delegation came to visit the ancient clan, and their young generation challenged the youth of our clan. But, one by one, we are no match for a man named Lei Dong, and his strength has now reached the level of a half-saint. Half-saint. Goof's eyes jumped. The strength of a half-saint is absolutely outstanding among the young generation of the ancient clan. It is normal for them to be defeated by a half-saint. So you came here to make me take action? Goof asked directly. That's right. After thinking about it, the only person who can save the face of the ancient clan is you. However, I have no interest in competing for strength and victory. Goof shook his head and declined. He himself was not the kind of person who liked to show off. If there was no need, he would not take the initiative to challenge anyone. Besides, he might not necessarily win against Lei Dong. The gap between a semi-saint and a Xun was like a chasm. Although Goof had a good ability to fight across levels, Lei Dong was also a genius. The so-called fighting across levels was just against some ordinary strong men. Moreover, during this period of time, he continued to refine the Dragon Phoenix crystal for Zi Yan, and he was quite tired. In a bad state, the chances of winning were even smaller. Gu Qingyang and Gu Yao stood there with ugly faces. The original worry that Gu Fei would not be able to defeat Lei Dong was obviously unnecessary, because Gu Fei had no intention of making a move. Gu Fei, this is related to the face of the younger generation of my ancient clan. No matter what, we should fight for it once. Gu Qingyang wanted to fight again. Brother Qingyang, I'm sorry to disappoint you. I really don't want to do this. Gu Zhen saw that Gu Fei was so determined and didn't even give him a chance. His face was unhappy. I've heard that Gu Fei of the Gu clan is a rare genius. I wonder if there is a chance to learn from him today. This voice was very familiar to Gu Qingyang and others, but unfamiliar to Gu Fei. Gu Fei looked up at the sky, and a group of people wearing silver shirts appeared. The leader looked down at Gu Fei without saying a word, but there were countless mouths chattering around him. Don't dare to fight. Are you afraid? The first genius of the Gu clan is just like this. Ha 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 ha. He is just a Zun. Compared with brother Lei Dong, he has no chance of winning. He is sensible not to fight. After all, why humiliate himself? According to what you said, I would like to call him a hero, because a hero is a man who knows the times. The children of the Lei clan kept mocking Gu Fei, and some even insulted Gu Fei directly, hoping to anger Gu Fei. As long as Gu Fei chooses to fight, then Lei Dong's goal will be achieved. With the arrival of the children of the Thunder clan, the whole mountain immediately became lively. There were constantly children of the Gu clan coming to watch, and even Xun'er was looking at it from a distance. They all wanted to see how Gu Fei would face this dilemma. After all, the gap in cultivation was there. If he fought, Gu Fei would not have much chance of winning, but if he did not fight, Gu Fei would lose a lot of face this time. This was Lei Dong's conspiracy. Listening to those people provoking Gu Fei, Dao Yixian and Xun'er frowned. They were all worried about Gu Fei. After all, Gu Fei was too tired in the past month, and his condition must not be very good now. They wanted to help Gu Fei, but their strength was low, so how could they help her? Brother Gu Fei ... You'd better not agree today. Wait until you recover your spirit. Dao Yixian and Xun'er stepped forward and held Gu Fei's hand, hoping that he would not agree. Both women were stunning beauties. After they appeared, they immediately attracted some jealous eyes. The people of the Thunder clan did not expect Gu Fei to have such good fortune. Don't worry, I know my limits. Gu Fei smiled at the two women, and then his eyes fell on Lei Dong. Obviously, Lei Dong was the instigator of this incident. Half saint is not a real saint. Gu Fei looked directly at Lei Dong, not feeling the slightest fear because of Lei Dong's strength. Lei Dong was very shocked by this calmness, and he couldn't help but look up to Gu Fei in his heart. Gu Fei, dare you fight me? Gu Fei's neither humble nor arrogant aroused Lei Dong's inner fighting spirit, so he no longer suppressed it and directly declared war on Gu Fei. Gu Fei was not afraid, since they had already fought to his doorstep. How could he not fight? Just as he was about to step forward to fight, a cold and pleasant voice suddenly sounded. If you want to challenge brother Gu Fei, you have to get past me first. As the voice fell, a purple gold light suddenly shot up from the bamboo building. Then, a graceful figure stepped out slowly in the purple gold light, and the terrifying pressure approached step by step with her footsteps. The woman who appeared was wearing a purple gold dress. On the dress, dragons and phoenixes danced, as if they were alive, revealing an unconcealable noble aura. Her body was tall and her long purple hair poured down like a waterfall, spreading over her slender waist, and then falling to her perky buttocks. The woman had a very beautiful face. Her original purple eyes had now turned into purple gold, mysterious and charming. Under the gaze of these purple gold eyes, it seemed that even the heaven and earth were succumbing to them. Today's Zi Yan is no longer the little girl she was before. Instead, she has completely changed into a mature girl who is stunningly beautiful. One gaze after another was distracted by Zi Yan's noble aura, and then their sides suddenly focused on her back. There, a pair of purple gold wings about 10 feet long were flapping gently. As the wings vibrated, there was a faint sound of wind and thunder. which was shocking. "Is this Yan?" Kair felt the familiar breath on the woman and was a little dazed. When Xiao found out that she was Yan, she looked at Yan in shock. This woman did have a lot of Yan's flavor, in addition to maturity. "So fast. I thought I would have to wait a few more days." Although Gu Fei had expected the changes in Yan, he couldn't help but be stunned after seeing this huge contrast again. "Does it look good?" Yan looked at Gu Fei and threw her a charming look. "This girl looks grown up on the outside, but she is still that little girl in her heart." In the sky, Lei Dong looked at Yan who suddenly appeared, and his face was very ugly, because he could feel that Yan's strength was several times stronger than his. And this aura was almost the same as the two elders from the Thunder Clan. Could it be that she is a Sheng, and has reached at least the 3-star level? Lei Dong felt a surge of pressure in his heart. At this moment, Yan's eyes swept towards him. "Just now, who said he wanted to challenge Brother Gu Fei? He is half my master. If you want to challenge my master, you have to fight with me first." Chapter 158. Yan, from now on, I will protect you. As Yan finished speaking, the tyrannical aura raged again, bringing terrifying pressure to everyone present. Her purpose was to intimidate the annoying people who dared to come here to cause trouble for Gu Fei. The wings of the phoenix, the body of a giant dragon. This is the blood of the ancient dragon and phoenix. My ancient dragon clan is about to rise. Zhu Li burst into tears and was extremely excited. He even knelt down directly. The Lion King also knelt down subconsciously because of the blood of the magic beast. The ancient dragon and phoenix were the absolute supreme of magic beasts. In ancient times, as long as they did not die young, they would definitely become 9-star Sheng in the future. Even the ancient phoenix could not bear this kind of blood pressure and had to bow down. Isn't she the little girl who followed Gu Fei before? How did she suddenly become so strong? Xun'er saw Yan suddenly appear in the sky in the distance, and her heart was extremely shocked. Xun'er had a deep memory of this lively and cute little girl beside Gu Fei. She had fought with Yan before and was surprised by her great strength. However, she remembered that before the retreat, Yan was only a Huang. How come she has become a Sheng in just over a year? Looking at her aura, she should not be from the ancient clan. How can she be so strong? I think she is younger than Gu Fei, but she is already a Sheng. The onlookers were all amazed at Yan's strength. The newly promoted Sheng was rippling in the ancient world. Yuan and Gu Lai had felt this terrifying aura early on and looked over here. Although I knew that this little girl would have a great opportunity, I didn't expect her to be so strong and directly jumped to Sheng. In the distance, Gu Fei's grandfather Gu Lai also secretly smacked his lips and marveled at Yan's opportunity. I'm afraid that this effect can't even be compared with the 9th grade elixir. Beside him, Gu Yuan smiled helplessly. The 9th grade elixir is indeed powerful, but there is no way for a Zong to directly jump to Sheng. Such an opportunity is hard to find in the world. However, this opportunity that belongs only to the Warcraft clan is something they can't envy. Boy, is that you? Yan's eyes fell on Lei Dong, the leader of the Thunder Clan's children. Lei Dong was obviously the leader of this group. Being stared at by Yan, Lei Dong felt his hair stand on end. The thunder power on the surface of his body was suppressed into his body, and he was afraid to show it again. Lei Dong had only seen such a terrifying power in the angry Thunder Clan elders. Lei Dong's arrogant attitude when he first arrived had been completely restrained. The next moment, Lei Dong looked apologetic and bowed to Yan and said, "Senior, I originally wanted to spar with Brother Gu Fei this time, but I didn't expect to alarm you. Please forgive me." Lei Dong was arrogant, but not stupid. Now that he dared to provoke Yan would definitely give him a good beating. Moreover, even if he was beaten, the elders of the clan would not stand up. "Brother Gu Fei is not in the mood to spar with you. Get out of here," Yan said, waving her jade hand, and an invisible force swept over, and Lei Dong and his companions were directly knocked down from the sky, each of them in a very embarrassed state. Lei Dong got up with an ugly face, but he didn't say anything else. He turned around and hurriedly left with several Lei clan members. It's a good thing for Lei Dong to suffer a loss. It can make him more motivated. Yes, after such stimulation, he will only work harder. As early as when Yan came out of retreat, the Lei clan elders noticed it.
They were worried that Lei Dong was in danger and rushed to the scene immediately, witnessing everything that happened just now. Putting aside the status, with Ziyan's current cultivation, these Lei clan elders must treat her equally, and some of the elders are even weaker than her. It's inconvenient for them to take the lead in the dispute between the juniors, so they can only let Lei Dong remember it for a long time. Seeing that all the people gathered on the mountain had left, Ziyan restrained her fighting spirit, and the strange phenomena of heaven and earth suddenly converged. She flew in front of Gu Fei, Xiao and others. The reason why she took a strong move to drive everyone away was for Gu Fei. Gu Fei consumed a lot of energy to refine the dragon phoenix origin fruit for her, and he has not fully recovered yet, so she didn't want others to disturb Gu Fei. Ziyan looked at Gu Fei in front of her with a smug expression on her face. For this reason, she deliberately released some of her powerful aura and said proudly, "Brother Gu Fei, now my strength is stronger than yours. From now on, it will be my turn to protect you." After Ziyan finished speaking, she waved her little fist, and the style of the big sister in Canaan College came out again. At this moment, Ziyan had an adult face and a wow figure. Although her face was similar to the previous face, her temperament had changed greatly. When hearing Ziyan's sincere words, Gu Fei smiled unconsciously. "Okay," Gu Fei readily agreed, and Ziyan was also very happy. Ziyan's promotion speed is too terrifying. Xun'er, Xiao and others came to Ziyan. They thought Ziyan would improve a lot, but they never thought that Ziyan would be promoted directly to Sheng. That realm was far behind even Gu Fei. It is not an exaggeration to say that she has ascended to heaven in one step. Far away from the mountain, Xun'er looked at Gu Fei's bamboo building with unwilling eyes, and her heart was very complicated. In terms of talent, she looked down on Lei Dong and thought that Lei Dong was not as good as Gu Fei. But Lei Dong was a few years older than Gu Fei after all, and had practiced for a few more years. At this stage, Lei Dong was much stronger than Gu Fei. She originally hoped that Lei Dong would come to defeat Gu Fei in public and dampen Gu Fei's spirit, but she didn't expect Ziyan to appear out of nowhere and even let Gu Fei stand out, because the Sheng strongman who everyone feared was like a little sister in front of Gu Fei. Under this strong contrast, the sense of superiority she had previously felt because of the pursuit of high-quality youths like Lei Dong disappeared. In terms of quality, Ziyan crushed Lei Dong. It's okay that she is stronger than Lei Dong, but her talent is much stronger than Lei Dong. After all, Ziyan looks much younger than Gu Fei. Creaky. A crisp sound suddenly came from behind everyone. The door of the bamboo building was opened, and Xiao came out of the bamboo building. "Daddy, I just felt a strong force." "What happened?" Xiao walked out, and Xun'er lifted the previous restrictions. The terrifying power of Ziyan Sheng was obviously not blocked by the restrictions set by Xun'er. Xiao quickly ran to Gu Fei, and Gu Fei picked her up and looked at Ziyan. "It's your sister Ziyan who has made a breakthrough. She is very powerful now, even more powerful than Daddy. From now on, you need your sister Ziyan to protect you." "Sister Ziyan?" Xiao looked at Ziyan suspiciously, and compared her appearance with her memory for a long time before confirming that it was indeed Ziyan. "Daddy, is this really Sister Ziyan? How come she grows up so fast?" "I also want to grow up quickly. Can Sister Ziyan teach me?" Xiao's childish voice sounded. "Why do you want to grow up so much?" Ziyan was amused by Xiao. "When I grow up, I can protect Daddy like Sister Ziyan." Xiao looked hopeful. "Daddy doesn't need your protection. I just hope you grow up happily." Chapter 159. Xun'er, I don't agree with this marriage. Gu felt warm in his heart. He touched Xiao's face, looked at Xiao and Xun'er, and felt very satisfied. The happiest thing in the world is that the family is happy together. Nothing is more important than this. "Little friend Gu Fei, you have given me a great opportunity this time. You are a great benefactor of my dragon clan. If you can use it in the future, the dragon clan will definitely support you with all their strength." Julie came over excitedly to thank him. "You are too polite. Ziyan is my friend. I helped her without thinking about any return." Gu Fei smiled and shook his head. After Xiao, Xun'er, and King Lin congratulated Ziyan on her breakthrough to Sheng, Gu Fei continued to rest and recover his energy. After absorbing some energy from the dragon phoenix origin fruit, Gu felt that he was only one step away from the 9-starred sun. He originally planned to start the breakthrough after a sleep. Unexpectedly, after sleeping for 2 days and 2 nights in a row, Gu woke up and found that he had directly broken through to the 9-starred sun. It would be great if I could keep breaking through while sleeping. After waking up, Gu, who was full of energy, felt the energy in his body and smiled. I don't know when I can become a saint. Because of Yan's breakthrough, Gu's heart was also ignited with a fire, and he was getting closer and closer to the semi-saint. Yan became a Sheng, and Gu couldn't wait to step into that realm. Then he launched the final charge to the realm that no one would come after. Gu also knew that the gap between the 9-starred sun and the semi-saint or even the Sheng was extremely huge. Because, in order to achieve the semi-saint, you still need to go through the arduous process of becoming a saint 9 times. Compress and condense Qi 9 times. Many people stay at this stage throughout their lives, and finally die of depression. This kind of thing can't be rushed. Gu restrained his breath, stopped checking his body, stood up and walked outside the main building. Yesterday, Xiao told him that in order to welcome the arrival of the Thunder Clan delegation, the Gu clan prepared a banquet and invited Gu to attend. Gu was reluctant to go, but the invitation letter had been delivered to his doorstep, and it would not be good not to go. After a simple tidy-up, Gu ran to the banquet. On the way there, Gu heard some rumors about the purpose of the banquet, but he didn't care about them, so he didn't listen much. After arriving at the banquet, all the children of the Thunder Clan had arrived. Lei Dong was sitting in the front row and saw Gu's arrival. He first looked behind Gu to make sure that Yan hadn't come, and then looked at Gu with a gloomy look. Gu glanced at Lei Dong lightly and also noticed his slightly hostile eyes. But he didn't care, found his seat and sat down. Xun'er's eyes also fell on Gu, and her eyes were very complicated. There was reluctance, confusion, loss, and some reluctance. Gu never looked at her from beginning to end, which made Xun'er feel like falling into an abyss. Yes, the women around her are so outstanding. It seems that I am not missing one. Flowers are fragrant and butterflies come. I must become even better. Xun'er thought silently in her heart, unconsciously clenching her fists. Compared to the complex emotions of the younger generation, the elders of the Thunder Clan who were present looked at Gu with admiration. Gu was already a 9-starred sun in his 20s. His talent was even more terrifying than Lei Dong's at the beginning. What was even more terrifying was the people around him. Not long after Gu arrived, Gu Yuan, Gu Lai and other elders of the ancient clan also entered the venue. Haha, the ancient clan. The Thunder Clan has not communicated for more than 10 years. This time, you must have a good time. After everyone arrived, Gu Yuan welcomed the arrival of the elders of the Thunder Clan. After both sides flattered each other, the banquet officially began. At the beginning of the banquet, the decisive character of the people of the Thunder Clan was fully demonstrated. As soon as Gu Yuan finished his polite words, an elder of the Thunder Clan stood up and said, "Chief Gu Yuan, we are here to propose marriage for Lei Dong. This is a gift from our Thunder Clan." After the Thunder Clan elders finished speaking, a large number of boxes filled with rare treasures appeared. "I wonder who the Thunder Clan wants to propose marriage to this time?" Gu Lai asked. "Of course it's Ms. Xun'er, the daughter of the chief of the Gu Yuan clan," the elder of the Thunder Clan said. As soon as this was said, there was a burst of boos from the whole audience. They were not surprised, but their expressions were really like this. This news had actually spread a few days ago. The elders of the Gu clan and Gu Yuan had long known the intention of the Thunder Clan, and many elders felt that with Lei Dong's excellence, it would be a good choice to match Xun'er. Gu Yuan asked just to go through the process and prevent accidents. Otherwise, if the other party changed his mind, he, Xun'er and the Thunder Clan would be embarrassed. "Xun'er, what do you mean?" Gu Yuan would naturally not agree directly. He doted on his daughter very much, so he naturally had to consult her opinion. Xun'er's attention had been on Gu before. When she heard Gu Yuan's question, she stood up and refused without hesitation. "Father, I only like Gu. In this life, I only want to be Gu's wife again. In my opinion, Gu is the most outstanding person in the world." Hearing these words, Gu frowned slightly. He didn't expect Xun'er to declare her feelings in public like this. The people of the Thunder Clan had just proposed marriage, and Xun'er's words could be said to be completely disregarding the face of the Thunder Clan, and even pressed the face of the Thunder Clan to the ground and rubbed it. Lei Dong felt his face flushed at this moment, and he was angry. As soon as Xun'er finished speaking, the people of the Thunder Clan looked at her with frowns. Yuan didn't expect Xun'er to refuse so bluntly. His eyes stayed on Xun'er and then looked at Gu Fei, frowning. He was not worried about offending the Thunder Clan, but he didn't expect Xun'er to be like this now. Yuan remembered that before Xun'er and Gu Fei got married, this situation was exactly the opposite of now, and now it has completely reversed. Xun'er, we all know that Gu Fei is very talented, even the best talent of the Gu clan. But there are people outside of people, and there are heavens outside of heaven. There is no need to be so sure about anything. There must always be room for maneuver, and elder of the Gu clan stepped forward to smooth things over. Gu Lai seemed a little embarrassed on the side. The matter involved his grandson Gu Fei, and he really didn't know what to say. Xun'er didn't take the elder's advice seriously and continued, there may not be people who are better than you, and there may not be heavens that are better than you. Gu Fei's talent is the best of his time, and no one can compare to him. In my heart, he is the best. Xun'er said this again, and Lei Dong finally couldn't stand it anymore. He stood up, and his fighting spirit was surging. If he didn't restrain himself, he would go straight to Gu Fei. Humphrey, he is the best. He is just a coward hiding behind a woman. Lei Dong stood up and said, very unconvinced. Obviously, he felt that his semi-saint cultivation was better than Gu Fei. A few days ago, he could have defeated Gu Fei in public, but Yan who suddenly appeared stole his limelight. If it was just Gu Fei, how could he let himself leave in disgrace? Gu Fei looked at Lei Dong indifferently, not wanting to argue with him, but Xun'er didn't intend to give up. Lei Dong, do you think your talent is amazing? Do you think you can be compared with Gu Fei? Let me ask you, how old are you this year? You are probably almost 30 years old. You are almost 30, and you have only barely reached the semi-saint level. What was your cultivation level when you were 22 years old? Xun'er asked a series of questions. Chapter 160 Yuan, Jr., you are too presumptuous. Lei Dong, you were probably just entering Xun at that time. How can you compare with brother Gu Fei? Xun'er's question echoed in the hall. As she finished speaking, Lei Dong stood up and his face became very ugly. The two Lei clan elders hurriedly looked at Lei Dong, worried that Lei Dong, who had a hot temper, could not control his temper and cause unnecessary trouble. However, what Xun'er said did make sense. After all, when Lei Dong was Gu Fei's current age, he had just entered Xun, while Gu Fei had already reached the 9-star Xun. The difference in talent was obvious when the two were compared. At this moment, even Gu Fei couldn't help but look at Xun'er more. However, when he thought of some things that happened before, Gu Fei's mood gradually calmed down. He really didn't want to have too much contact with such an erratic woman. Who knows if she will treat him the same way she treated Lei Dong today and the future. Gu Yuan, Gu Lai and others also knew all about the talents of Lei Dong and Gu Fei, but it seemed inappropriate to question them in public. The Thunder Clan came to the ancient clan to propose marriage with full sincerity, and they had to take into account the other party's face. Haha, Xun'er, everyone has their own fate. Some people start slowly and then become fast, while others start fast and then become slow. Everything is an unknown. Lei Dong's future achievements may not be inferior to Gu Fei. What's more, the Thunder Clan is a guest in our ancient realm this time. What you are doing now is not the way for our ancient clan to treat guests. Gu Yuan persuaded Xun'er with a smile on his face, asking Xun'er not to act willfully again. Oh, Xun'er sat down again and glanced at Gu Fei's position. Even though the hall was already noisy to the point of quarreling, Gu Fei, as one of the parties involved, still sat there drinking as if nothing had happened, and smacked his lips from time to analyze the taste of the wine. All these scenes were seen by Lei Dong. Lei Dong was named a genius since he was born, so he had never been insulted like this. Even though Xun'er was the one who started the fight, he directed his anger at Gu Fei. In his opinion, Gu Yuan's words just now were not meant for him. He just said that because he was a guest and wanted to save the Thunder Clan's face, he was not recognized, which made him even more angry. He looked at Gu Fei, who had nothing to do with him, and his suppressed emotions burst out instantly. The next moment, He laughed loudly and said, "What the Gu Yuan clan leader said is right. The path of cultivation is to mediate fate. What will happen in the future has not happened yet, so who can tell clearly? However, I am confident that since I am stronger than Gu Fei now, I will be stronger than him in the future. If he dares to compete with me, I will suppress my cultivation to the peak of Xun today. I just don't know if he dares to accept the challenge." At this point, Lei Dong turned directly to Gu Fei and said sarcastically, "Gu Fei, you are not going to continue to be a coward. If you only know how to hide behind women and elders in this life, you are destined to achieve nothing in this life. What's the use of having a good talent? It's just an eggshell that will break at the touch." What Lei Dong said now was pure provocation. No matter how calm Gu Fei was, he frowned at this moment. The other party had already scolded him in public. If he didn't respond, he really couldn't gain a foothold in the Gu clan in the future. Gu Fei's eyes changed, and the previous indifference disappeared, becoming fierce. He looked at Lei Dong with cold eyes, and his momentum was no less than that of the angry Lei Dong. Just when Gu Fei was about to say, "If you want to fight, then fight. You don't need to suppress your cultivation," a terrifying pressure swept across the hall. "Insolent." A plain voice sounded. Although the voice was very plain, no one dared to ignore it. The pressure contained in these two simple words made everyone present change their faces, and they felt as if a heavy object weighed on them. Because the person who spoke was the patriarch of the ancient tribe, Gu Yuan. In Gu Yuan's heart, he also agreed with Xun'er's words. He always regarded Gu Fei as the future successor of the ancient tribe. How could he allow an outsider to act like this in his own territory? The Lei tribe was a guest, and the purpose of coming here was to propose marriage to Xun'er. Xun'er's stern refusal was impolite, so Gu Yuan would deal with it to save the face of the Lei tribe. But Lei Dong actually pointed at Gu Fei and scolded him. When did it become his turn to scold someone from the Gu clan? What's more, he was mocking and provoking the future successor of the Gu clan. He had already given the face of the Lei clan. But Lei Dong's actions did not take his Gu clan seriously at all. Gu Yuan would not spoil such an ignorant junior who was not his daughter. Gu Yuan's momentum was so great that even Xiao Yan, who burst out with the aura of a 3-star Sheng 2 days ago, was just like a child in front of him. The two elders of the Lei clan also realized that something was wrong. In this kind of banquet between the two clans, Lei Dong's behavior was completely a provocation to the Gu clan. They quickly apologized and scolded Lei Dong. "Don't be angry, Chief Gu Yuan. Lei Dong doesn't know etiquette. Please forgive me, Chief Gu Yuan." Lei Dong is a young man with a strong will and a desire to win. He was confused for a moment and said what he said just now. "It was just a dispute between the younger generation. I didn't mean to disrespect the ancient clan. Please forgive me, Chief Gu Yuan." "Lei Dong, why don't you apologize to Chief Gu Yuan as soon as possible?" If Gu Yuan really got angry, the consequences would be unimaginable. The elders of the Lei clan didn't dare to test the dragon's power, so they hurriedly urged Lei Dong to apologize. Lei Dong turned pale under the powerful pressure of Gu Yuan. He felt like a beast with a bloody mouth was in front of him, and he was in his mouth. As long as the other party closed his mouth, the fangs would immediately tear him to pieces. "Chief Gu Yuan, please forgive me." Just now, Lei Dong was reckless. Lei Dong's face was pale and he bowed to apologize. He tried his best to suppress his will to crawl to Gu Yuan so that he could still stand. Faced with Gu Yuan's words, Lei Dong had to hold back even if he was unwilling in his heart. At this time, another party, Gu Fei, continued to drink because Gu Yuan spoke up. From beginning to end, he did not say a word, but people kept speaking up for him. In the hall, after Lei Dong admitted his mistake, Gu Yuan did not continue to pursue it. After all, he was just a junior, and he only needed to establish his authority. After this turmoil, the banquet immediately became much quieter. The children of the Lei clan drank in silence, and Xun'er's eyes swept over Gu Fei from time to time, but Gu Fei never looked at her again. The elders of the Lei clan knew that the marriage proposal was hopeless, and even angered Gu Yuan, the patriarch of the Gu clan. So after staying for a while, they found a reason to say goodbye to Gu Yuan. "Patriarch Gu Yuan, we're leaving." The two elders of the Lei clan hurriedly ended the banquet and left with the juniors. However, before leaving, Lei Dan couldn't help but glance at Xun'er. Xun'er's eyes fell on Gu Fei at this moment. Seeing Xun'er's eyes, Lei Dan couldn't help but clench his fists. When I return from my training in the Thunder Pool, I will prove to everyone who is the real #1 genius. Before leaving, Lei Dan clenched his fists and looked very determined. Chapter 161 Xun'er, no matter what, I will get you back. This banquet was originally prepared to welcome the Thunder Clan delegation. Now that everyone in the Thunder Clan has left, the banquet itself has no meaning. Gu Fei didn't want to waste time here, so he looked at Gu Lai not far away. Grandpa, my grandson will go back first. Gu Fei smiled and saluted Gu Lai, who also smiled and nodded. Next, Gu Fei looked at Gu Yuan again, and after saying goodbye to Gu Yuan, he left the hall. Gu Fei left without hesitation, looking straight in the direction of departure, without giving any extra glances to other people. This made Xun'er, who had originally expected something, feel extremely lonely. She thought that Gu Fei would be moved by her performance today, but the expected scene did not appear. Gu Fei did not change his attitude towards her because she stood up. He still treated her so coldly, like a stranger. Is there really no chance? Xun'er watched Gu Fei leave the hall, her eyes full of unwillingness. She felt aggrieved and almost cried, but in front of everyone in the ancient clan, she still held back her tears. Gu Fei started the conversation, and the rest of the people left one after another. When some people who were close to Xun'er left, they wanted to say hello to her, but they found that she was in a very depressed mood with her head down, and her mood was even a little dark. Everyone didn't dare to ask more questions, so they could only leave in disappointment. Alas, why are you doing this? In the hall, as everyone left, Gu Yuan looked at his precious daughter's lonely look, feeling very distressed, but helpless. It was indeed Xun'er's fault at the beginning, but she obviously liked Gu Fei. Why did she? Although Gu Yuan felt sorry for his daughter, he felt that Gu Fei's behavior was justified. What if Gu Fei accepted her, and she did that kind of capricious things in the future? Which man could bear it? After all, Xun'er was his precious daughter, and he would not point fingers at Xun'er. Some things needed Xun'er to figure out by herself before she could really solve the problem. You and Gu Fei have separated, and he already has a wife. You are also a very good person with unlimited future. Father, you won't understand. Xun'er interrupted Gu Yuan before he finished speaking. In this life, no matter what, I must get Gu Fei again. Xun'er left a word and left alone, leaving Gu Yuan alone. Gu Yuan watched the stubborn Xun'er leave, and the look in his eyes kept changing. I hope you can really repent. Maybe there are still some opportunities. After leaving the banquet, Gu flew directly back to the top of the mountain. Daddy is back. As soon as Gu landed on the top of the mountain, Xiao Yan saw him, ran over quickly, and threw herself into Gu's arms. Gu also picked up Xiao Yan and held her in the air for a circle. Slow down. Don't throw Xiao Yan out. Xiao walked up and said, You underestimate me too much. After all, I am a Xun. Gu smiled. Xiao naturally knew that Gu would never throw Xiao Yan away. As a mother and wife, she was just joking to lighten the mood. Where are Yan and the others? Gu asked. Sister Yan said she was going to get some delicious food, and she hasn't come back yet. As soon as Xiao Yan finished speaking, the space beside Gu suddenly cracked, and a purple figure jumped out of it. Xiao Yan, did you miss me? Look, what delicious food did I bring you? Yan walked out of the void, took out a handful of colorful fruits and handed them to Xiao Yan. Gu couldn't help but twitch his mouth when he saw it. What Yan took out were all high-level spiritual medicines, probably stolen from the ancient world's medicine garden. She has become stronger, and she can really do anything. Quickly make some sugar pills for me. Yan took out a bunch of spiritual medicines and spiritual fruits and handed them to Gu. Although she has grown up in appearance, she is still the little Yan in her heart. Although refining can remove the dross, with your current strength, you can easily remove the dross. Julie said softly. Yan glanced at Julie indifferently and muttered, This thing is so bitter, I don't want to eat it raw, I want to eat sweet. Gu looked at this field of rare herbs and knew that a field of medicine had been harvested by Yan. Yan broke through the Cheng, and her spatial ability became stronger. This ability was like a god for her to find medicinal materials. With the return of Yan and Gu Fei, the whole mountain immediately entered a state of joy, and some of Gu Fei's previous troubles also disappeared with laughter. This joy did not last too long, and Julie's face gradually showed some sorrow. After Gu Fei discovered the change in Julie's state, Julie also spoke directly to Gu Fei. Yan has entered Qing after absorbing the Dragon Phoenix origin fruit. The Dragon Clan is now divided into pieces. The appearance of the Dragon Emperor is urgently needed to help the ancient Dragon Clan unify and revitalize. So, I plan to take Yan back to the ancient Dragon Island to inherit the position of Dragon Emperor. Julie said his purpose. Obviously, he was very anxious and eager to see the ancient Dragon Clan unified. The longer the ancient Dragon Clan was divided, the greater the internal weakening of the Dragon Clan would be. This was something that the elders of Julie's faction did not want to see. Elder Julie, Yan is now a 3-starred Sheng late stage. There is still some residual power of the Dragon Phoenix origin fruit. Why not wait until she breaks through to a 4-starred Sheng before going back? Julie fell silent after hearing this. Combined with the current situation of the ancient Dragon Clan, he was also entangled in his heart. Yan is the hope of the ancient Dragon Clan's unification. She must not have any accidents. You know the situation of the ancient Dragon Clan best. If Yan goes back now, can it really solve the problem? Gu Fei tried to keep her, because he knew that the 3 Dragon Kings would most likely launch a siege on Yan under the instigation of the North Dragon King. Even if Yan reaches the level of a 4-starred Sheng, she will not be defeated when facing the siege of the 3 Dragon Kings. Moreover, in the original novel, the Northern Dragon King was so crazy for the position of Dragon King that he did not hesitate to collude with the Dragon Clan's mortal enemy, the Heavenly Demon Phoenix Clan. In the end, he also used the Dragon Transformation Magic Array to harm the ancient Dragon Clan. Huang Tian, the patriarch of the Heavenly Demon Phoenix Clan, has reached the level of a 5-starred Sheng. The Northern Dragon King has activated the Dragon Transformation Magic Array, and his cultivation is close to that of a 6-starred Sheng. Both forces are beyond Yan's ability to deal with. If Yan goes back without any preparation, it will only put her in danger. And I am only at Xun now. If Yan encounters danger, I have no ability to help Yan for the time being. Recommend books. I was forced into a weird state by my 7 sisters and went crazy, providing super emotional value. Never forgive, never be a saint. If you are interested, you can add it to the bookshelf. There is a direct cart below. Click to add it to the bookshelf. Chapter 162. The Queen gave birth to a son, Gu Shuang. Although, relying on the power of the ancient clan, Gu Fei can easily solve those troubles. However, there are clan restrictions between the major ancient clans. Those who have a cultivation level above 4-starred Sheng cannot act at will. If the ancient clan makes too much noise, it will inevitably attract the attention of other ancient clans. On the surface, the 8 ancient clans behave very harmoniously, but behind the scenes, they are suspicious of each other. Once any clan reveals its flaws, it may be attacked by the crowd. The Yan clan, the Lei clan and other races are indeed powerful, but they are not to be feared by the more powerful ancient clans. After all, Yuan, the peak of the 9-starred Sheng, is like a magic needle that stabilizes the sea, enough to keep the ancient clan standing. The only one that the ancient clan is really afraid of is the Soul Clan. The patriarch of the Soul Clan is a peak powerhouse of the same level as Yuan, and he also has the help of the 9-starred Sheng strength of the void-swallowing flame. Now the plan of the Soul Clan has almost been carried out. Gu Fei was calculating the time in his heart, estimating the current timeline. The grand plan of the Soul Clan is almost ready. When the Soul Palace collects enough soul essence for them, the Soul Clan will start a reckoning against the 8 ancient clans. The Soul Clan, which has been preparing for 1,000 years, is so powerful that even the ancient clan cannot resist it alone. Therefore, the ancient clan cannot have any accidents now, and everything must be stable. Moreover, the situation of the Taixu ancient dragon clan must be stabilized as much as possible, so that when the war breaks out in the future, the ancient dragon clan will also be a great help. How about this, Elder Zhili? You have been out for a while this time. Why don't you go back and stabilize the situation on Donglong Island first, but don't explain Ziyan's situation for the time being, Gu Fei explained to Zilai after thinking for a moment. Hearing this, Zilai frowned slightly, thinking quickly in his heart. As Gu Fei said, Ziyan's current strength, even if she returns to the clan, it may be difficult to turn the tide. If Ziyan returns to the clan, no matter how much they conceal it, it will inevitably be exposed. After all, there are still a large number of spies sent by the other 3 Dragon Kings on Donglong Island. If the 3 Dragon Kings knew that the royal bloodline had appeared and absorbed the dragon and phoenix origin fruit, they would inevitably covet Ziyan. If the 3 of them chose to take risks, Ziyan might be in danger. What Gu Fei said was indeed the best way now. Okay, then I'll listen to you. I'm relieved that Ziyan is with you. Julie agreed with Gu Fei's suggestion. Next, he was ready to leave the ancient world alone and return to Donglong Island. As Elder Julie left, not long after Julie left, Ziyan appeared beside Gu Fei in a flash. Elder Julie has been away for quite a while this time. He must bring back some news to the Taixu ancient dragon clan. You should continue to stay here and improve your strength. Now you are the only hope for the revitalization of the Taixu ancient dragon clan. Gu Fei brought Julie's words before he left to Ziyan. When Ziyan heard this, her eyes, which were originally smiling, became solemn. She understood the mission she was carrying. Now that she has grown up, it is time to take on her own responsibilities. Growing up is a bit troublesome, but as a dragon emperor, you should be the strongest. Ziyan's smile is different from the lively and free-spirited smile in the past. This smile is full of determination. Ziyan, you are really sensible. Gu Fei looked at Ziyan, who is now tall and slender and has shed her childishness, and felt a sense of emotion in his heart. The time after that returned to peace. Ziyan practiced very hard to refine the remaining energy of the dragon phoenix origin fruit in her body. Gu Fei accompanied his wife and daughter while striving for cultivation. Next, what stood in front of him was the process of 9 transformations to become a saint. 9 transformations are actually not complicated. Simply put, they can also be called 9 times of condensation and compression. When a strong man at the peak of Zun has full qi in his body and can no longer increase it, it is the beginning of the 9 transformations. At this time, he needs to condense and compress all the qi in his body, and finally make the full body have empty areas that can accommodate new qi again. When the qi is full again, it is necessary to continue condensing. Repeat this 9 times. It will be a great perfection. Soon, a year passed, and Gu Fei successfully completed the 4th turn. His cultivation level climbed to the peak of the 4th turn Zun. Such progress in cultivation was simply shocking. At this rate, Gu Fei could complete the 9th turn, which ordinary people could not cross in their lifetime, in less than 3 years. And during this year, Ziyan also successfully absorbed all the remaining medicinal power of the dragon phoenix origin fruit and broke through to the 4th Sheng. Now Yixian, King Lin, Kair and others were not idle either, and their cultivation levels also broke through. What surprised everyone the most was that Kair's belly was getting bigger and bigger. The snake people need to be pregnant for more than 3 years. They will use various natural treasures and their own energy to nourish the fetus in advance. The stronger the energy that the fetus is nourished, the stronger the talent will be after birth. One day, Kair, who had been pregnant for almost 3 years, finally felt a movement in her belly. The baby seems to be coming out. The signs of the fetus's movement in the belly became more and more obvious, and everything showed that her child was about to be born. Kair was about to give birth. She was waiting for the birth in the bamboo building. The midwife was in charge. Gu Fei and others were waiting anxiously outside the room. Although he had already had experience once, Gu Fei still seemed very nervous and was very anxious outside the bamboo building. Sister Kair is finally going to give birth. I have waited for so long. I wonder if Sister Kair's child will be cuter than Xiao Yan. Ziyan widened her eyes with anticipation. If she is cuter than Xiao Yan, will you not like Xiao Yan? King Lin whispered beside her. Ziyan quickly turned around and covered King Lin's mouth, and made a gesture to silence her. Shh, don't let Xiao Yan hear it, or I won't play with you. After Ziyan finished speaking, she looked around like a little thief. After making sure that Xiao Yan was not there,
She was relieved. Yan and King Lin's playfulness made Gu Fei relax a little. Now Yixian also came forward and held Gu Fei's hand, asking him to relax. Wow. Wow. Finally, the anxious mood completely fell on a loud cry. It's born. Hearing the noise, Gu Fei entered the room immediately to check on Kair. Although Kair has now reached the Zun level, giving birth to a child still made her extremely weak. Gu Fei quickly fed her a pill to restore her blood and qi. Later, Dao Yixian, Yan, King Lin and others also came in to check on the situation. Born to be a Zong, Dan Haozun and the Lion King came in last. Naturally, the two of them did not go to Queen Medusa, but looked at the child first. When seeing the child born by Queen Medusa, Dan Haozun was shocked. This child was born to be a Zong. As expected of the little master, my child is only in the late 5th stage. The Lion King sighed. Zong, that is a height that many people cannot reach in their entire lives. But this is the starting point for the little master. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 163 Yan, don't call me sister, call me aunt. So cute. Is it a boy or a girl this time? Yan also came to the child. Miss Yan, it's a young man. The midwife replied respectfully with a smile on her face. It's a boy. I actually prefer girls more. Yan muttered to herself, and her tone seemed a little disappointed, as if she had given birth to a child and was commenting on it. Kair, look at our child, he's a little man. When Kair recovered a little, Gu Fei wiped the sweat on her face, then took the child from Yan's hands and handed it to Kair. My child. The breath of the 7-colored sky swallowing python. Kair instantly felt the familiar breath of the 7-colored sky swallowing python in the child's body. She understood that the reason why the child was born to be a Zong was that he borrowed the power of the 7-colored sky swallowing python, because the soul of the 7-colored sky swallowing python had not completely dissipated before, and now it was reborn through the child's body. Have you thought of a name for the little guy? Little medical fairy suddenly asked at this time. Gu Fei paused slightly after hearing this, looked at the crying child in his arms, and laughed. My child is a natural Zong, unparalleled in the world, so I named him Washuang. Gu Washuang. How do you think? Washuang. This name is good, it sounds domineering. I hope the little guy will become a man in the future, as good as his father. In the room, everyone called out Gu Washuang affectionately. Washuang seemed to know that this was his name. After listening to it, he stopped crying and laughed instead. This is the first time I've seen a crying Zong in my life. Gu Fei looked at Washuang lovingly. The 2.5-year-old Xiao Yan was also very happy. Great, I have a younger brother. She ran over cheering, and Yixian took the opportunity to pick up Xiao Yan so that she could get closer to see Washuang. On the side, Yan saw the happy appearance of Gu Fei and his family, pouted her mouth slightly, and muttered in her heart, I also want to give birth to a child for brother Gu Fei. Not long after Washuang was born, Gu Fei planned to refine another pill for Washuang. Although Gu Fei would not do anything to force the growth of seedlings, he could improve the child's physique. And this time, on the day when Gu Fei's pill was completed, 8-colored pill thunder fell directly from the sky. His progress in alchemy was almost the same as his progress in cultivation. While Gu Fei was refining the pill, Yan came to Xiao Yan quietly. Xiao Yan, do you want to eat the spiritual fruit? Yan tempted Xiao Yan with something. Yes, sister Yan, give it to me. Looking at the tempting spiritual fruit in Yan's hand, Xiao Yan nodded quickly. Okay, then don't call me sister, call me auntie. Yan's smile became even stronger. Sister Yan, why do I suddenly call you auntie? Xiao Yan was puzzled by this title. Don't ask. Anyway, if you call me, this spiritual fruit is yours. From now on, I will steal one such spiritual fruit for you every day. Every day? Well, I'll call you Auntie Yan. Yan smiled slightly. If you want to give Gu Fei a child, you have to start with a change in generation. South of Zhongzhou, Xun'er Pavilion. Yan and his apprentice have been here for half a year. With the protection of Feng Zun and the resources provided, their situation is much better. Although Yao Lao still does not have a body, his soul power has recovered a lot. As a good friend of Feng Zun and the founder of Xun'er Pavilion has mobilized all the power of the pavilion to find medicinal materials for Yao Lao to restore his soul power, and to find news about the strange fire for Xiao Yan. Only when Xiao Yan obtains the strange fire can he refine the body for Yao Lao. Let Yao Lao be reborn. What are your plans next? One day, Feng Zun, the Feng Zun, came to the residence of Yao Lao and Xiao Yan, looked at Xiao Yan and asked, in order to reshape the body for the teacher, and for me to gain more powerful strength, I will continue to look for the strange fire. I must find the strange fire and let the teacher be reborn. Xiao Yan said in a very firm tone, while clenching his fists, with a lot of unwillingness in his heart. He had clearly obtained information about several kinds of strange fires along the way, but he was always one step behind and was beaten to the punch by others. He was both angry and helpless. Strange fires are hard to come by, so relax. Feng Zun patted Xiao Yan on the shoulder and said, in the Dan Tower, there is a strange fire called the 3000 Flames. As long as you can enter the top few of the Dan Conference, you will have the opportunity to refine it. This is also the only strange fire whose trace is known at present. After Yao Lao finished speaking, Feng Zun frowned, opened his lips and closed them, as if he had something to hide. After hesitating for a moment, Feng Zun still said, the strange fire in the Dan Tower was refined by someone a few years ago. What? The strange fire in the Dan Tower is gone. That is to say, there are no rewards for participating in the Dan Conference. Xiao Yan, who was standing aside, was shocked when he learned that the 3000 Flames had been taken away, and then became very decadent. Ancient realm. Gu Fei calmed down and concentrated his mind. The strange fire swam in his hands like a swimming dragon with its own intelligence. Gu Fei had reached an extremely high level in controlling fire. He concentrated on urging the strange fire to refine the spiritual medicines one by one. Under the burning of the strange fire, the spiritual medicines gradually turned into a ball of crystal liquid. There were several balls of such liquid next to the alchemy furnace. Melt it for me. Finally, Gu Fei melted several balls of liquid together and controlled the strange fire to condense them. But as time passed, he suddenly felt a trance. Then, the essence of the medicinal materials that had been fused together made a hissing sound and then broke apart. Finally, it was turned into ashes by the strange fire. It still failed. Gu Fei saw this and felt a little disappointed. This time, he refined the 9th grade pill, but unfortunately, it failed. Soul power is no longer enough to support me to refine higher level pills. Gu felt that his soul power seemed to limit the progress of refining medicine. Now, his soul realm has already entered the late stage of the spiritual realm. If he wants to make further progress in alchemy, it is best to enter the heavenly realm. The best way to improve soul power is to find natural treasures, but natural treasures are hard to come by and there is no place to find them. There is only that one place, so Gu Fei thought of a place, the Soul Palace. This force constantly harvests souls and extracts the soul essence. If the soul essence of one of its 3 main halls can be plundered, Gu Fei's soul power will usher in a qualitative change. The reason why the Soul Clan collects souls is to improve their soul power and make themselves stronger. Of course, this matter still needs to be cautious, because Gu Fei knows that there are spies planted by the Soul Clan in the ancient clan. He is now the first person of the young generation of the ancient clan, and his whereabouts may be paid attention to by the Soul Clan. Maybe he has been targeted by the Soul Clan now, and he may be attacked by the strong men of the ancient clan when he is outside. Even if he already knows the Soul Clan very well, and even knows their details and motives clearly, he still can't help but be afraid of them. This is the horror of this race. He can't do it openly. If he asks the elders of the ancient clan to do it, he will be exposed. The 3 main halls of the Soul Palace are all guarded by strong men. It is necessary to find a strong man of the Daoxing level to go with him. So, Gu Fei thought of Xiao Yan. With Xiao Yan's current strength, as long as the Soul Palace Master Hun Maishan does not take action personally, no one in the Soul Palace should be able to check and balance her. Xiao Yan, This girl is very useful now. Gu Fei had a smile on his face. In order to successfully convince Xian, he also specially prepared a lot of sugar pills. Xian has no resistance to this thing at all. After getting ready, Gu Fei left the room to find Xian, and happened to see Xian and Xiao Yan playing together. Xian held a tempting fruit in her hand, and Xiao Yan looked at the fruit with desire, and couldn't wait to eat it. Next, Xian took the opportunity to ask a question to seduce Xiao Yan, and this sentence happened to be heard by Gu Fei, who came here. Be good, call me. And again, Gu Fei. Chapter 164. Xian's embarrassment. Raid on the human palace. Little Xian called 3 times in a row. Be good, and we'll give you something delicious. Xian's childish voice sounded, and Xian felt so comfortable. Her eyebrows and eyes were full of smiles. Oh no, I was so happy just now that I didn't notice that Brother Gu Fei was coming. Suddenly, Xian's expression froze, because she sensed Gu Fei's breath approaching. She didn't turn around, but walked directly towards the bamboo building, pretending that she didn't notice Gu Fei. Xian, however, before she took 2 steps, Gu Fei's voice rang beside her ears. It's Brother Gu Fei. Aren't you in seclusion to refine the 9th grade elixir? How come you came out so soon? Did you fail? Xian turned around, and on her delicate face, she forced a smile to cover up her embarrassment, and she pretended to have just noticed Gu Fei. Daddy, hug me. Little Xian threw herself directly into Gu Fei's arms, and Gu Fei took the opportunity to pick up her small body. Xian feels extremely embarrassed, and her emotional value increases by 100 points. This time, the alchemy was indeed a failure. Gu Fei has an emotional system, so Xian's various emotional changes naturally cannot be hidden from him. However, Gu Fei did not expose it. What a pity, that must have wasted a lot of spiritual medicine. Xian continued to speak with a look of relief. Yes, Daddy, you are so wasteful. In Gu Fei's arms, Xian interjected at the right time, and this childish voice once again reduced Xian's embarrassment a lot. Really? Then are these also wasted? Listening to Xian and the little guy singing the same tune, Gu Fei smiled, stretched out his hand, and in his palm, there was a handful of sugar pills made of spiritual medicine. Wow, so many sugar pills. Xian's eyes lit up, and she shook her head quickly. How can Brother Gu Fei waste things? You can get more of this kind of thing. After speaking, Xian immediately stretched out her hand to grab all the sugar pills in Gu Fei's palm, and stuffed a few of them into her mouth like swallowing a whole date. Although Xian's behavior is the same as before, she has a completely different temperament because she has grown up. She was delicate and cute before, like a porcelain doll, and her every move can make people laugh unconsciously, but now she shows a playful beauty. I want to eat sugar pills, Aunt Xian, please give me some. Seeing this scene, Xian also waved her hands, very greedy. Okay, I'll give you some, I'll give you some. However, as soon as the little guy said this, Xian panicked instantly. She quickly handed the sugar pills in her hand to Xian's little hand. However, perhaps because of nervousness, all the sugar pills spilled and fell to the ground. Oh, why did they fall? Xian's mind moved, and the sugar pills were suspended in the air and stopped falling. At this time, Xian's eyes were dodging, and she didn't dare to look at Gu Fei's eyes at all. Oh, Daddy refined a lot this time, Gu Fei said, and took out more than a dozen jade bottles, all of which were filled with sugar pills. He just heard Xian call me aunt, but he didn't react? This is too strange. Xian was relieved, but also a little confused, looking at Gu Fei suspiciously. He never took the initiative to give her so many sugar pills. Why today? Brother Gu Fei, you don't want to ask me for help, do you? Xian smiled, and her bright eyes seemed to see through Gu Fei's heart. Haha, I can't hide it from you. Gu Fei nodded calmly. Haha, seeing that you are so sincere, I promise you. Xian smiled playfully, and then accepted all the jade bottles handed over by Gu Fei. As for what Gu Fei asked her to do, she didn't care at all, because no matter what Gu Fei asked her to do, she would not refuse. This matter needs to be kept secret. Gu Fei smiled slightly, and then told him about his plan to attack the Soul Palace. If the human palace can be breached and the soul essences stored in it can be taken out, it will be easy for Gu Fei to enter the heavenly realm. At that time, His alchemy skills may be able to break through the 9th level. The improvement of soul power can also allow Gu Fei to try another great opportunity. Soul Palace, it's the dark force that you, Brother Gu Fei, often talk about, which specializes in seducing people's souls. It's not bad to punish this kind of force. After listening to Gu Fei's plan, Yan seemed to be very interested. The two hit it off immediately, but in order to keep it secret, they announced their retreat to the outside world, and even other people in the ancient clan did not intend to reveal it, because even in the ancient clan, there are people from the Soul Clan who have infiltrated, and they have to be on guard. Now Yixian, Kair, Yan and I are going out for a while, don't worry. After arranging some things, Yan and Gu Fei quietly left the ancient realm. Soul Palace is very famous in Zhangzhou. They have many branch palaces, among which there are 24 that belong to the more important levels, and the Soul Palace calls them the Earthly Evil Palace. Above the Soul Palace, there is the Tangang Palace, which is the most important of the Soul Palace. The Tangang Palace is divided into 3 palaces: Heaven, Earth and Man. The Heaven Palace is the headquarters of the Soul Palace. The one station there is the Soul Palace Master Hun Maj. The Earth Palace is under the jurisdiction of the Soul Palace Deputy Palace Master, and the last Human Palace is under the jurisdiction of the Soul Palace Great Heavenly Venerable, Second Heavenly Venerable and others. And Gu Fei's target this time is the weakest Human Palace, because only by attacking here can we ensure that there is no risk of error. The Corpse Burial Mountain Range is located at the junction of the southwest region of Zhangzhou. Due to the terrain, the yin energy here is extremely heavy, and in that yin energy, there is a thick corpse gas. This Corpse Burial Mountain Range is also a strange mountain composed of tombs. Under normal circumstances, it is almost impossible to find people here, and no one would be willing to stay in such a ghostly place. Swish! There were suddenly some wind-breaking sounds in the silent sky of the Corpse Burial Mountain Range. The light flashed, and 2 figures appeared from a distance. They were Gu Fei and Yan, who had come all the way from the ancient world. We're here. The Human Palace is in front of us. When they arrived here, Gu Fei and Yan looked towards the deepest part of the mountain range. The space there was faintly distorted. Yan, it's up to you. Don't worry. Leave it to me. I guarantee that not even a mosquito will be able to fly out. Gu Fei looked at Yan, who smiled slightly, waved his sleeves, and the space of this world quietly fluctuated. Finally, it turned into a huge space barrier, wrapping up the entire area. After doing all this, Gu Fei and Yan rushed directly into the depths of the mountain range, and both of them put on a wide black robe. Chapter 165. Yan. Is the Soul Palace so great? In the slightly distorted space, there is a huge black land. Occasionally, the surface of the land is exposed to some white color, which are some broken bones, revealing some strange and coldness. In the center of this huge area, a huge black palace stands silently, like an ancient beast crawling on the ground. In the huge black palace, there are countless extremely thick black chains extending out, and the other end is inserted deep into the ground. And above these chains, there is a group of black mist circling, faintly gathering into a human shape. From time to time, the chains also flash some light, and finally sweep into the black mist, making the black mist more condensed. Wow! Suddenly, more than a dozen black mists stood up from the chains, and the black mist shrank and turned into more than a dozen indifferent human figures. Let's go. It's our turn to carry out the mission. I hope we can bring back enough souls this time. Among these people, a figure who looks like a leader said in a hoarse voice. After saying that, he waved his hand, and more than a dozen figures turned into a ball of black mist, rushing out of this space like lightning. Bang! However, just as the black mist was about to break through the space barrier, the space around them suddenly solidified and then collapsed fiercely. More than a dozen figures, without even a scream, were squeezed into nothingness by the terrible force of space. Swish! Then, a large hole appeared in the space barrier, and 2 figures walked in slowly. The visitors were Gu Fei and Yan. Woo! As soon as Gu Fei and Yan walked into the space barrier, a shrill humming sound came from the huge hall, and then a series of sinister eyes suddenly burst out from the black mist above the chains, staring at the 2 of them. How dare you break into my soul palace? You're looking for death. A series of eerie shouts suddenly broke the silence of the space. Many figures stood up from the chains, and without waiting for any instructions, they turned into black light, brought up a eerie wind, and rushed towards Gu Fei and the other two. A bunch of cannon fodder, running happily. Gu Fei raised his hand and clenched it, and the large black shadow that was approaching shattered into nothingness. At this moment, the black shadow that was coming from behind was finally scared and paused. You bastard, you dare to run wild in my soul palace? You are really tired of living. All the heavenly lords, take him down. An old man appeared above the huge palace. The old man had a hunched body, leaning on a skull cane in his hand. His eyes were sunken, and two groups of faint green light flashed in his eyes, giving people a gloomy and weird feeling. After his hoarse voice fell, more than a dozen figures suddenly flashed out of the huge hall like lightning, and finally floated in the sky. These people are all Xun Hei, a mere Soul Hall's second heavenly lord. You are quite good at showing off, being besieged by more than a dozen Xun. Gu Fei sneered. With his current cultivation, these people are not his opponents at all. Great heavenly creation bomb. Boom. Gu Fei's bomb fell, and the space collapsed almost instantly. A dark and chilling black light circle spread out. Any matter that entered it would disappear completely in an instant. Under one palm, 7 or 8 Soul Hall heavenly lords were completely swallowed up. Looking for death, Gu Yu's figure disappeared on the spot, and when he appeared again, he had already appeared in front of Gu Fei and Yan. At the same time, a dry palm was stretched out and slapped Gu Fei's forehead. You are the one who is looking for death. Yan, who was beside Gu Fei, took action and casually slapped Gu Yu, a semi-saint, and instantly felt the threat of death. To be honest, if this trip had not been a quick battle, Gu Fei really wanted to fight with Gu Yu, a semi-saint, to improve his combat experience. 10,000 souls bone armor. Under the threat of death, countless souls wailed on Gu Yu's body, gathering into a black bone armor, which looked extremely gloomy. However, even such an extraordinary means of protection still seemed vulnerable under the huge gap in cultivation. A palm print quickly collapsed on Gu Yu's chest, and then the bone armor completely shattered, and the flesh of Gu Yu inside also turned into a blood mist in an instant and floated in the air. The second Tanzun of the Soul Palace was killed by Yan in just one encounter. It seems that I will need Yan's protection for a long time in the future. Seeing Yan really take action, Gu Fei couldn't help but smack his lips in his heart. HMPH. As the second Celestial Master Gu Yu died, a cold snort came from the depths of the huge palace. Immediately, a thick black fog surged out from it. In the black fog, an old figure with a skinny body like a skeleton slowly walked out with a gloomy aura. The black fog surged, and a hunched figure like a skeleton slowly appeared in the sight of Gu Fei and Yan. Two-starred Sheng, it seems that this person is the great celestial master of the Soul Palace. Looking at the old figure, Gu Fei murmured in his heart, if it was just the great celestial master stationed in the human palace, today's affairs would be very smooth. Who are you? Why do you want to attack my Soul Palace? Is there a feud between us? The old figure slowly raised his head, and a hoarse voice sounded, questioning Yan. In this person's eyes, Gu Fei's cultivation is not worth mentioning at all, so he doesn't care. However, his questioning did not get any response from Yan. I'll leave him to you. I'll take care of the rest. Gu Fei gave an instruction, and then he attacked other Soul Palace masters. A piece of trash dares to attack me. Seeing this, the great celestial lord of the Soul Palace was furious, and the overwhelming black mist shot out from his 5 fingers, turning into 5 huge chains, which rushed towards Gu Fei. Dang dang! Just as the black chains were about to approach Gu Fei, the space around him suddenly surged violently, and an extremely violent spatial turbulence burst out. The terrible tearing force directly broke all the chains. You are the trash. Your whole family is trash. The biggest trash among trash. The great celestial lord insulted Gu Fei, which immediately angered Yan, and she started to scold him angrily. Who are you? How dare you attack my Soul Palace? At your level, don't you know the power behind my Soul Palace? The deputy master of the Soul Palace looked at Yan solemnly. but he couldn't see Xian's appearance clearly under the black robe. It was just that Xian's distinct female voice made him suspicious. When did such a powerful female Chen appear in Zhangzhou? Is it great to have a backer? Hearing this, Xian curled her lips, which seemed very disdainful. Once, when the Taixu ancient dragon clan was strong, even the Soul clan was not afraid, let alone a subordinate force of the Soul clan. The Soul Palace. Chapter 166. Want to call someone? No way. Today, don't even think about having a single survivor here, Xian said very seriously. Humphrey, you are so arrogant. Hearing this, the great celestial venerable of the Soul Palace shouted coldly with an extremely ugly expression. This was the first time that the Soul Palace had been attacked like this in all these years. However, although he was furious at this moment, his heart was very solemn. He knew that he could not deal with a top-notch expert like Xian. Of course, he could not wait to die. The next moment, the overwhelming black fog burst out from his sleeves. You have no place to attack me. Xian also sneered, and her jade hand formed a seal like lightning, and a dark golden luster burst out from her body. In the blink of an eye, a huge golden dragon formed outside her body. The dragon opened its mouth, like a whale sucking water, and in a few breaths, it swallowed up all the extremely corrosive black fog. The Taixu ancient dragon king family, seeing the golden dragon summoned by Xian, the great celestial venerable of the Soul Palace screamed in surprise. Although you are very strong, you can't just massacre me in my Soul Hall. The great celestial venerable of the Soul Hall retreated violently. Then, a silver jade slip emerged from his hand and he crushed it. Want to shake someone? The space of this world has been covered by the space turbulence I used, and any space fluctuations cannot be transmitted. Xian looked at the great celestial venerable with a joking look, and said with a smile. The face of the great celestial venerable of the Soul Hall trembled slightly, and his heart finally sank completely. Obviously, the other party came prepared. Okay, I won't waste time talking to you. Xian didn't waste time, and directly launched a thunder attack, with the phoenix wings behind her, and the speed was completely unmatched by the great celestial venerable. The huge gap between the 4-starred Sheng and the 2-starred Sheng made the great celestial venerable bid farewell to this world completely before he could last 3 moves. Next, it was a one-sided massacre. Gu Fei would not be merciful to the people of the Soul Hall, and he would not feel any guilt for killing too many people. After killing all the people from the Soul Palace here, Gu Fei came to the top of the huge palace. A palm wind was swung out from his hand. The huge palace was split open. The huge palace was split open, revealing the end of the chains, with countless souls hanging on them. Looking at the thousands of souls, Gu Fei couldn't help but twitch his eyes. These bastards of the Soul Clan are completely using souls as nutrients. Good kill. These people are really dark. Xian's face was also cold. Next, Gu Fei waved his palm lightly, and a terrifying strong wind blew past like a gust of wind. Those chains burst open in an instant, and the souls in the light balls slowly opened their eyes at this moment. For many years, they have been locked here like prisoners, and sometimes, even death has become a luxury. Let's go. Don't let the Soul Palace catch us again. Gu Fei sighed as he looked at these souls who were so excited that they were almost in tears. In the sky, countless souls were lingering, and finally they all knelt down to salute Gu Fei. It's time to leave. After taking the things, Gu Fei didn't waste time. The death of the great celestial venerable would soon be known by the strong men of the Soul Palace. Therefore, he quickly landed and began to dig under the giant palace. With Gu Fei's rapid digging, a huge pit appeared in the ruins in the blink of an eye, and in the depths of the huge pit, a light ball about half a foot in size was suspended. The light ball was transparent, and countless black chains were connected to the periphery of the light ball, and the ends of these chains were connected to the souls that had just escaped. Such a pure soul origin. From the light ball, Gu felt an extremely terrifying soul fluctuation. Moreover, this fluctuation was extremely pure, without any impurities. So many soul origins, at least millions of souls condensed. Xian exhaled lightly. The means of this Soul Palace were really too vicious. For these soul origins, millions of souls were directly destroyed. At this moment,
Her disgust for the power of Soul Palace was at its peak. These people would do anything to achieve their goals. This extremely cruel thing was almost the same as taking blood and flesh from living people. Moreover, his behavior was even more cruel. One day, we will make this dark power disappear from the world, Gu Fei said firmly. Brother Gu Fei, what do these people from Soul Palace want to do with so many soul essences? Yan frowned. Absorbing soul essences can enhance soul power. They should be trying to make someone's soul power breakthrough to an extraordinary realm. Gu Fei explained. This was also the purpose of his trip. This thing was collected by the human palace with great effort. Its value was naturally immeasurable. Once this thing was taken out, I don't know how many alchemists on the mainland would go crazy. Those things are condensed by killing and should not exist in the world, but since they have appeared, there is no reason to abandon them. As he spoke, Gu Fei waved his hand and broke all the chains. I will help you avenge your hatred. Gu Fei reached out and gently touched the light ball. With just a few words, the soul light ball suddenly released a faint luster. Indistinctly, it seemed that a lot of information was coming out of it. These were the resentments and emotions left by those whose souls were extracted. It was quite difficult to completely refine them. If they were absorbed carelessly, it would affect the mind. But Gu Fei's words just happened to quietly dissolve these negative emotions. These words were impossible for the Soul Palace to say. Let's go. After accepting the soul light ball, Gu Fei sighed softly. At this time, Yan also built a space channel, and the two stepped into the crack at the same time. About 2 hours after Gu Fei and the others left this place, the space above a mountain not far from the ruins fluctuated slightly. Then, a black shadow rushed out and finally rushed into the ruins of the giant palace. When he saw the excavated ruins, his face suddenly became gloomy, and his eyes were full of anger. Who did it? Come out! The black shadow roared loudly on the spot. The souls that the human palace has worked hard to collect for 100 years were all taken away. If this matter is reported back to the clan, even I will be severely punished. Looking at the empty depths of the soul palace, the black shadow's face gradually turned pale. The human palace is one of the 3 Tangang palaces and is a very important branch palace in the soul palace. Now these soul origins have been taken away by Gu Fei, and those imprisoned souls have also been released by Gu Fei. This huge loss is unbearable even for the Soul Palace. Chapter 167 Danta, this really wasn't done by us. Haha, I didn't expect the people of the Soul Palace to end up like this. Well done. The people of the Soul Palace are used to being arrogant. They should have been taught a lesson long ago. I just don't know which force destroyed the Soul Palace's human palace. Could it be that Danta did it? Yes. I'm afraid that only Danta can do this. Although the news of the destruction of the Soul Palace's human palace was not specifically announced by the Soul Palace, but such shocking news is obviously impossible to conceal. Therefore, in just 1 week after the incident, this matter spread all over Zhongzhou like wings, causing a lot of shock. The power of the Soul Palace is most clear to the forces in Zhongzhou. This giant-like existence has always stood above Zhongzhou. Even Danta has been at a disadvantage in several battles with them. Therefore, although many forces have been persecuted by the Soul Palace, they dare not retaliate against it and can only suppress their hatred in their hearts. Now that they suddenly hear such news, they feel a little happy. However, many forces in Zhongzhou are also curious about who has the power to destroy a branch of the Soul Palace. This kind of record of destroying the 3 Tangang palaces has never been achieved by Danta before. However, it does not affect the Zhongzhou forces' suspicion that it was done by Danta's people. Shangdan City, the top floor of Danta, Xuan. I didn't expect that someone would teach the Soul Palace a lesson this time. It's really gratifying. In the top floor hall, the dark-skinned Tanglzi seemed very excited. Yes, after so many years, the Soul Palace has finally suffered a big setback. At the same time, this result is also telling the world that the Soul Palace is not that scary. Xuan nodded in agreement. Although this matter is very exciting, it also brings us trouble. It is now rumored in Zhongzhou that the massacre of the Soul Palace and the Human Palace was done by our Danta people. Perhaps the Soul Palace will fight to the death with our Danta because of this matter. On the side, Xuan, who had been silent all the time, suddenly spoke up with a worried look in his eyes.
It is indeed troublesome, but if the Soul Palace really wants to fight, then we can only respond with all our strength. After fighting for so many years, are we Danta afraid of them? Zhuan Kongcai's voice became serious. Of course I am not afraid. I will kill as many as the Soul Palace come. Tianlisi, who has a hot temper, immediately expressed his determination to kill them all. However, after saying this, he spread his hands again and said innocently, "But this is obviously not done by us Danta, no matter if they are used as guns by others, as long as they are against the Soul Palace. The person behind the scenes is on the same front as us Danta." Zhuan Yi expressed his attitude. At this moment, Zhuan Kongcai frowned slightly. This breath is so familiar. I also sensed it. It can't be that old guy. Tianlizi's expression was puzzled. Zhuan Yi, who was standing aside, had a wandering look in his eyes and was very excited. Teacher, I didn't expect that the Soul Hall would suffer such a big loss. The senior who destroyed the human hall is really admirable. I wonder which master of Dan Tower it is. Outside the Dan Tower, Yan followed behind Feng Zun's through the checkpoints and walked towards the giant tower, communicating with the soul of Yao Lao in the ring from time to time. This matter is not that simple. Maybe it's not someone from Dan Tower. Yao Lao responded, if it's not Dan Tower, then who could it be? Zhongzhu is so big. Maybe there is a hidden strong man who has a grudge against the Soul Hall. Yao Lao guessed. With his understanding of Dan Tower, if it was really Dan Tower, it should not hide anything, but would directly disclose it. Old man, I didn't expect it was really you. After a while, Yan and Feng Zun's came to the top floor of Dan Tower. Three figures appeared side by side in front of the two of them. After Zhuan Kongcai finished speaking, Yao Lao's soul also floated out of the ring directly. The three giants of Danta were all very surprised. They thought that Yao Chen had died in the accident that year, but they didn't expect that his soul was still there. Back then, Han Feng, that traitor. Yao Lao slowly recounted what happened back then. I didn't expect it was really Han Feng. Is he a beast? You treated him like your own son back then, but he actually turned his kindness into enmity. If I had known, I should have chopped him off with a palm when I interrogated him back then. Hearing this, Zhuan Kongcai was very angry and wanted to find Han Feng immediately. I also interrogated that beast Han Feng back then, but he tricked me, Feng Zun said with gritted teeth. And Mugu, it was he who instigated Han Feng back then. Yao Lao continued. Mugu, that bastard. Evildoers will be punished. Someone has already taken him away for you. Mugu is dead? How did he die? Listening to Tianlizi's words, Yao Lao was a little surprised. A few years ago, a young man from the ancient clan came to Shengdan City. He took away 3,000 flames. Mugu set his sights on that young man, and finally suffered the consequences. That young man has a great background, and the dashing strongmen in the clan are all protecting him. Listening to the characteristics described by Zhuan Kongcai and others, Yao Lao pondered and said, could it be him? Only he would collect so many strange fires. Do you know that person? Zhuan Kongcai was quite surprised. Yao Lao nodded. That young man has been to the northwest continent. I have seen him several times. I guess he has already got 2 strange fires. Mugu went to steal his strange fire. That's really looking for death. By the way, when I came here, I heard that the human hall, one of the 3 Tangang halls of the Soul Hall, was massacred. Did your Dan Tower do this? Yao Lao suddenly changed the subject. Why do people in the world think that my Dan Tower did this? Zhuan Kongcai couldn't help but cry out in pain. Teacher's guess was so accurate. On the side, Yan was very surprised. He couldn't figure out what other forces would be so cruel to His Highness Hun. Never mind. The more I explain now, the less I can explain. By the way, old man, you only have a soul now. Is there any way to solve this problem? Tianlizi mentioned a very crucial thing. There is a way, but I need someone who has multiple kinds of strange fire to help me refine my body. Yao Lao sighed. Multiple kinds of strange fire? Zhuan Kongcai suddenly thought of something and analyzed. Doesn't that young Master Goof have several kinds of strange fire at the same time? If I can get his help, things will be simple. Yes. Why didn't I think of it before? Yan's eyes also surged with a strange color. If you want to ask that kind of genius for help, I'm afraid you have to pay a great price, Feng Xian said solemnly. With the strength of my Xun'er pavilion, the things we offer may not be valued by the other party at all. That person is so fond of strange fire. At worst, on that day, I will give away the bone spirit cold fire in exchange for his help. Chapter 168. The soul breaks through to the heavenly realm and reaches great perfection. Ancient world. Deep in the ancient Saint Mountains, the head of the ancient clan, Gu Yuan, and the king of Hei Yan, Gu Lai, appeared in an ancient hall at the same time. Haha, it seems that the sensational incident that was uploaded from Zhongzhou this time is most likely related to that kid Gu Fei. For just a soul palace, Gu Fei actually didn't need to be so secretive. Could it be that the people of the Soul Clan dare to come to the ancient world to cause trouble for my ancient clan because of this? The two people in the hall obviously knew that Gu Fei and Yan had left the ancient world, and guessed that the human palace was destroyed by Gu Fei. However, for this matter, the two of them just treated it as a joke. They didn't take it seriously. Since the decline of the ancient Zhou clan, the ancient clan has always been known as the strongest ancient race, so they have been quite proud over the years and have a disdainful attitude towards many things. Little did they know that it was precisely because of their pride that the strength of the ancient clan and the Soul Clan became increasingly larger, allowing the Soul Clan's strongest worker, Hun Mai, to create infinite value. While people in Zhongzhou were still discussing the massacre of the Soul Palace and the Human Palace, the instigators Gu Fei and Yan had already arrived at the Beast Realm and escaped into the void space. The void space was a place that even Zun's strongmen did not dare to enter at will. It was pitch black and silent inside, and terrifying space storms would appear from time to time. When encountering a space storm, ordinary Zun would not be able to survive it safely, and therefore, basically no one came into this place. At this moment, Gu Fei was sitting cross-legged somewhere in the void space. In front of him, a light ball about half a foot in size was gently suspended, and a soft and pure luster continued to spread out from it. Gu Fei stared at the soul light ball, exhaled lightly, and then stretched out his palm and touched the light ball. With this contact, Gu Fei could clearly feel the vast soul origin power that permeated the soul light ball. That feeling made the soul between his eyebrows feel extremely warm. Puff. The next moment, Gu Fei opened his mouth and the fused strange fire was spewed out. The flame emerged and quickly floated to the bottom of the soul light ball, and suddenly turned into a raging fire, completely enveloping the soul light ball. Although the soul origin is quite pure, it is something obtained from the soul palace after all, so it is always better to be cautious. With the gradual penetration of high temperature, the soul light ball was slightly boiling, and faintly, there was a trace of very light black gas coming out of it, and then it turned into nothingness. Seeing these black gases, Gu Fei, who was sitting cross-legged, also raised his eyebrows slightly. He felt a very weak thought from it. Obviously, this was injected into it by the strong men of the Soul Palace. If it is absorbed into the soul, it will cause a considerable hidden danger. These guys in the Soul Palace are really vicious and cruel. Gu Fei waved his sleeves, and the flames surged again, refining all the black gas hidden in the soul light ball. As these black gases dissipated, the soul light ball became more and more transparent and crystal clear, and it looked like an illusion. This refining lasted for half an hour, and Gu Fei slowly dispersed the flames, looking at the soul light ball floating in front of him like a crystal, and then he slowly breathed a sigh of relief. Yan, I may have to retreat for a few months. Do you want to go back first? Gu Fei looked at Yan and asked. No, I'll stay here to protect you. Hearing this, Yan shook her head without hesitation. After getting Yan's answer, Gu Fei smiled and nodded, and then moved his handprint, and the soul power at the center of his eyebrows surged out. These soul powers turned into a human figure that looked the same as Gu Fei, sitting cross-legged in front of the soul light ball, with his mouth slightly open. A huge suction force surged out, and with the appearance of this suction force, the soul light ball also trembled slightly. An extremely pure soul origin power spread out, and finally wrapped around Gu Fei's soul, and continuously merged into him through the pores all over his body. As more and more soul origins were sucked in, a layer of strange crystal-like crystal layer gradually appeared on the surface of Gu Fei's soul. The soul light ball slowly fluctuated, and a series of crisp sounds like water splashed out. The extremely pure original soul power was continuously injected into Gu's soul. Under this infusion, a faint intoxication appeared on the face of the body transformed by Gu's soul. Layers of faint strange crystal layers quietly emerged on the surface of the soul body. Looking at it faintly, it was like a real human figure, extremely magical. The soul light ball contained extremely terrifying soul original power. These original powers were condensed by the human hall from millions of soul bodies. In front of such a vast soul origin, even a strong person like Gu felt a subtle sense of insignificance. Hualala, as more and more soul origins were absorbed by Gu, circles of invisible fluctuations also spread slowly with Gu as the center. The invisible fluctuations spread very far. If Gu was not in the void space at this moment, he would probably attract the attention of countless people. What a terrifying soul power! Ziyan's eyes stayed on Gu, and she was close to him, so she felt it most strongly. Fortunately, her soul power was weak, but her cultivation was much higher than Gu's, so she could still bear it. In Ziyan's sight, Gu's body was now covered by a layer of strange crystal-like human figures. Time was also passing quickly. The crystal figure was motionless like a sculpture. After an unknown amount of time, its tightly closed mouth suddenly opened. A suction force suddenly surged out, and the soul light ball suddenly swept out, turning into a stream of light and drilling into the crystal Gu's mouth. Boom! When the soul light ball drilled into the mouth of crystal Gu, the latter's body suddenly shook, and a dazzling strong light surged out of his body. An invisible wave that seemed like the world, like a storm, swept out from his body, covering the sky and the earth. After more than 4 months, Brother Gu finally absorbed that thing completely. This soul power, I'm afraid it can directly deal with a 2-starred Sheng. Ziyan, who was guarding Gu, also showed some surprise in her eyes. The Taixu ancient dragon's body was extremely strong, but at the same time, it was also weak in soul power. Therefore, even as strong as she was shocked by this soul fluctuation. Is this the soul of the great perfection of the heavenly realm? Gu opened his eyes at this moment. He could clearly feel the gap between himself now and before. Even in the dark void space, 1,000 miles around, he could sense it. Chapter 169 Xun'er, his children can fly? If I meet someone like Lei Dong who has the cultivation of a semi-saint again, I should be able to easily suppress him with my soul power alone. Gu murmured in his heart, then slowly stood up and looked at Ziyan. Gu was very grateful to Ziyan, because, in the past 6 months, Ziyan has been guarding him all the time. She has changed her anxious habits in the past. Brother Gu, if you stay a little longer, I really can't stand it. At this moment, Ziyan's pretty face finally showed a trace of resentment and complained. Such a long wait is indeed difficult for her. Haha, I know you have worked hard during this period. After returning to the ancient world this time, I will definitely reward you well. Gu comforted Ziyan's mood. No, I want a reward now. Hearing Gu's words, Ziyan curled her lips and said, Okay, tell me, what reward do you want? As long as I can do it, I will satisfy you. Gu said with a smile. Any reward is fine. Hearing Gu's assurance, Ziyan's eyes suddenly lit up, and she looked at Gu carefully. Could this girl want? Gu's heart tightened, and then, the system prompted the emotional value to enter, which made Gu sure of what Ziyan was thinking. Ziyan has feelings of love and possession, and the emotional value increases by 100. Possessive emotion? Are her emotions so intense? Hearing the prompt, Gu was stunned for a moment. In fact, Gu has always known about Ziyan's thoughts, but neither of them took the initiative to break this window paper. The most transgressive thing Ziyan did was to let Zhao Ziyan call her aunt. Forget it. I haven't thought about it yet. Let's talk about it when I think about it. Remember, you owe me a reward. After meeting Gu's eyes, Ziyan finally backed down and didn't say it. Then let's go back to the ancient world first. This time we have been out for a long time. Gu also breathed a sigh of relief. Soon, the two returned to the ancient world in a very low-key manner, just like when they came out. Daddy, you finally came out of retreat. On the mountain peak, Zhao Ziyan was so excited after seeing Gu coming back that she quickly ran to Gu and said, Hug me. Gu picked up Ziyan, Behind Xian, Dao Yixian and Kair stood side by side. Both girls were delighted. Next to Kair, there was a delicate and toddling baby. Shuang, he is your daddy. Kair took lotus steps and walked slowly to Goof with Shuang's hand. Shuang raised his head and looked at Goof curiously with his black and bright eyes. Although Shuang was young and had just started to remember things at this time, he couldn't help laughing because of the blood connection with Goof, and his childish voice rang out, "Hee, daddy, daddy, haha." Shuang can speak now. Goof's heart melted when he heard the child's childish voice. He reached out and picked up Shuang as well. Holding a baby in one hand and accompanied by his lovely wife, he can be said to be enjoying the happiness of family life. "Aunt Ziyan, you are finally out of retreat. I missed you so much during this period." Now Ziyan leaned her head on Goof's shoulder, noticed Ziyan coming from behind, and quickly stretched out her hand to greet Ziyan. Hearing Ziyan addressing Ziyan, Dao Yixian and Kair were not surprised at all, because during this period, in addition to looking for her father, Ziyan often said that she wanted to find her aunt. Dao Yixian and Kair also understood Ziyan's thoughts about Goof. At this moment, they saw Ziyan's blushing face, but did not expose it. With the return of Goof and Ziyan, the mountain peak became lively again. While accompanying his family, Goof began to continue to try to refine the 9th grade elixir. After consuming a lot of emotional value, Goof's level of refining medicine has risen to the level of being able to refine the 9th grade treasure elixir. And this time, his soul power has entered the great perfection of the heavenly realm, and he has even pulled the conditions to the maximum. Under this premise, the probability of him refining a 9th grade precious pill was greatly increased. The time for refining medicine was boring and long. Goof was not completely immersed in it. Occasionally, he would take time to take care of the baby and fulfill his responsibilities as a father. Soon, more than a year had passed. Shuang, who was still a toddler before, was now 2 years old. The power in his body could be controlled spontaneously. "Shuang, you are so awesome." As a big sister, Ziyan clapped her hands in joy when she saw that her brother Shuang was so young and could already stand in the air. "Haha, sister, let me take you to fly." Shuang stretched out her little hand and pulled little Ziyan into the air. Although he had reached the Zong level, his mentality was still like that of a child. "What is this? How old are they? They can actually fly? And they don't even have chi wings?" At this moment, in the sky opposite the mountain where Goof was, a green figure showed a deep surprise on her pretty face. The person who came was Xun'er. In the past 2 years, every time she finished her training, she would come here and look at the mountain where Goof was from afar, and this time, she happened to see 2 cute kids playing in the sky. For a moment, many emotions arose in Xun'er's heart, making her fall into memories. Suddenly, a strange wave emanated from the top of the mountain where Goof was. "Ah, I feel out of control. No, I'm going to fall." Under the strange wave, Shuang, who was only 2 years old, suddenly couldn't control the power in his body, and fell to the ground with his sister Ziyan. "Be careful." Seeing this scene, Xun'er's heart tightened, and she subconsciously wanted to go over to save people. However, Dao Yixian and Kair appeared faster. "Ziyan, Shuang, stop playing." The 2 girls each took action to catch the children, and then looked at the place where Goof was in seclusion. The strange wave just now came from the place where Goof was in seclusion. What happened? Ziyan and King Lin also appeared beside Kair and the others, looking very surprised. Could it be that brother Goof is finally going to succeed? Ziyan seemed to have thought of something. The next moment, the world seemed to have suddenly become dark. In the sky, clouds quickly gathered from all directions. The clouds that gathered this time were not black, but an extremely deep dark color. The dark clouds filled the sky, and there was no sound of thunder, but when people looked at the dark clouds that were so deep that even their sight could be absorbed, it seemed that even their souls were trembling slightly at this moment. "It's so dark." The sky darkened, and the 2 little guys, Ziyan and Shuang, did not dare to look up at the sky again. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel. Mundo fanfic novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 170, the youngest 9th grade grandmaster in the world, Black Magic Thunder. I haven't seen it for many years. Goof is really a monster. At such a young age, he can actually refine 9th grade elixirs. If the guys from the medicine clan knew about this, they would probably doubt their lives. Haha. With such a genius, our clan will continue to prosper for thousands of years. As expected, Goof's elixir refining once again alarmed many elders of the ancient clan. At this moment, outside Goof's mountain, more than a dozen Sheng masters were hiding in the void and watching. Before, they thought that Goof might be able to climb to the 9th grade master one day, but they never thought it would be so soon. Yuan, who was dressed in a plain robe, also raised his head at this moment, looking at the strange black clouds in the sky, and murmured, "My ancient clan really has successors. If there are 2 9-star fighting saints in the world, which clan will not accept it? Is this the legendary Black Devil Thunder Tribulation?" The classics say that the appearance of the Black Devil Thunder Tribulation means that the 9th grade elixir is about to be born. Xun'er was one of the first young people of the ancient clan to arrive here. At this moment, her beautiful eyes were full of surprise. She had only seen this kind of thunder tribulation in the classics and had never seen its true appearance. "Oh my god, what on earth is that? Just looking at the thunder cloud makes me uneasy. If the thunderstorm descends, I'm afraid I will turn into ashes in an instant." Brother Goof is really worthy of being the first among the younger generation of our Gu clan. He can refine the 9th grade precious pill now. Maybe he can be promoted to the Xun'er Grandmaster in the future. The Xun'er Grandmaster, that has not appeared for hundreds of years. Soon, the younger generation of the Gu clan also came here one after another. When they thought of the black magic thunder recorded in the ancient books, they all admired Goof in their hearts. At this moment, Goof, who was sitting cross-legged beside the alchemy cauldron on the top of the mountain, also looked at the constantly wriggling black cloud with a solemn look. From it, he felt an extremely strong destructive power. This kind of power is many times stronger than the 9-color and 8-color pill thunder. In the distant sky, the black clouds kept wriggling, and the whole world was silent, without the sound of thunder. However, it was this deathly silence that made people feel terrible. With the continuous wriggling of the black clouds, about 10 minutes later, the center of the cloud suddenly slowly cracked into a circular hole. The hole was still pitch black, like the deepest black hole. "This thunder tribulation is so terrifying. Can my husband handle it?" Feeling the horror of the black hole, the little doctor holding the child on the mountain was a little worried. "Don't worry, Yan is now a 4-star Sheng. She should be able to deal with this thunder tribulation, and there are so many elders in the ancient clan watching. My husband will not be in any danger." That's right. No matter how strong the thunder tribulation is, Yan and many elders of the ancient clan will stop it. Listening to Kair's words, the tension on the little doctor's face disappeared, and a smile appeared. Swish. A moment later, a strange sound finally came from the black hole in the sky, and then a black lightning as thick as an arm shot out from it, and then silently rushed towards Goof's medicine cauldron below. "Let's get out of the way. Don't let the aftermath hurt the child." Seeing this scene, Kair and Xiao Yan hurriedly took the child away from the mountain. Lion King and Kinglin also felt the pressure and stepped back a little. Only Yan and Tan Hao Zun still stayed in place to watch. "Elders, Goof wants to feel the power of this black magic thunder in person." Goof's figure flashed to the sky and appeared directly below the black lightning. At the same time, a voice sounded from Goof's mouth. Hearing this, the ancient clan Daosheng elders who had originally planned to help Goof block the thunder tribulation all stopped. Emperor Seal, Great Lowell Heaven Palm, 5-wheel Lehuo formation. Goof's whole body of chi was released, and various heaven-leveled skills were continuously released. In the past 2 years, although Goof has practiced less, refining medicine is also a practice process that consumes a huge amount of chi. It was in this process that Goof completed the last few turns of the Zun Peak and broke through to the level of the 9 turns on Peak. At this moment, the first few heaven-leveled skills were immediately defeated when they just came into contact with the Black Thunder,
and the sky was roaring continuously. Black magic thunder, even for a half-saint, has to go all out to block it. Gu's several attempts to block it did not make the black magic thunder dissipate, and it still rushed down. It seems that Gu can't stop the black magic thunder. Why doesn't he avoid it? Seeing this scene, several Cheng elders of the Gu clan were worried about Gu. Don't worry, with the clan leader and the Black Annihilation King here, how can Gu be injured? Several elders of the ancient clan who were very clear about life were not worried that Gu would get hurt. Break it for me. In midair, facing the approaching black magic thunder, Gu still did not choose to avoid it. The terrifying energy quickly gathered on his fist, and a piece of crystal clear crystal flashed with dazzling luster. Then, in the eyes of many shocked people, Gu punched hard on the black thunder. Boom! The two collided, and the terrible storm of destruction suddenly swept across the sky and earth with one person and one thunder as the center. The space of this world, like broken glass, crackled and exploded. In the shattered space, the black magic thunder had not dissipated yet, and the black lightning arcs directly ravaged Gu's flesh and blood. There was a crackling sound. Husband. Although they knew that there were many strong men in this place, Dao Yixian and Care couldn't help but exclaimed when they saw this scene. That was the black demonic thunder, the lightning that could shatter a semi-saint. It was raging on his flesh and blood. Just imagine how dangerous it would be, if an ordinary person were to be touched by it. They would be instantly shattered into ashes, and would be deader than dead. I didn't expect that Gu's flesh and blood would be so strong. Staring closely at the figure surrounded by the black lightning arc, several elders of the ancient clan were amazed, their eyes full of admiration. Under their gaze, the terrifying black lightning arc that could destroy all life not only failed to successfully destroy Gu's body, instead, it was gradually refined by the strange fire on Gu's body, becoming pure energy, and feeding back into Gu's flesh and blood. Even though the power of this black demonic thunder had been greatly weakened by the previous few fighting skills, Gu's move was still shocking. Even a true Cheng would not dare to withstand such thunder with his flesh, and Gu was not even a semi-saint now, but only at the peak of Zun. Chapter 171 Xun'er. Even if I am laughed at, I will still go to congratulate him. In the distant sky, the raging edgy storm, after lasting for more than 10 minutes, finally slowly dissipated. As the storm dissipated, the collapsed space gradually repaired itself, and the warm sunlight once again poured down from the sky, shining on the top of the mountain. As the storm dissipated, eyes turned to the sky in an instant. There, a young figure stood in the air, and the previous terrifying edgy storm did not hurt him at all. Daddy is so awesome. Little Xian looked at the figure in the sky that attracted everyone's attention and clapped her hands with joy. Seeing her sister Xian so happy, Shuang also laughed with her, and her chubby little face was very lovable. Shuang, your father just refined the 9th grade treasure peel. Let's go and congratulate him. Mother, what is the 9th grade treasure peel? Is it delicious? Of course it's delicious, but you can't eat it now. It will upset your stomach. Care and Zhao Yixian showed joy on their faces. After a few words, they flew towards the mountain with their children in their arms. Xun'er looked at this warm scene and felt extremely lonely. She also wanted to go up to congratulate him, but what kind of identity should she go with? No, if I can't even take this step, how can I have the opportunity to reconcile with Brother Gu in the future? After struggling for a while, Xun'er finally mustered up the courage and walked forward. Even though she knew that she would probably be ignored and become the object of ridicule if she went there. Is this the power of the black magic thunder? In the sky, Gu sensed the dissipating storm, and his tense body slowly relaxed. He clenched his fist slightly, and a numb feeling spread from his fist. The overwhelming power of the black magic thunder was also somewhat beyond his expectations. If it weren't for his overbearing physique, comparable to some 9th-level magic beasts, even the remaining thunder that was intercepted several times by the fighting skills would have severely damaged him. If there were more, he would have no choice but to flee with his current strength. After all, he didn't have the ability to swallow thunder directly, and just now he just used the strength of his body to refine it with difficulty. If Gu's strange fire could have the swallowing power like the void-devouring flame,
Then he could try to go to the Void Thunder Pool. There are countless black magic thunders, comparable to the thunder pool circulated in the Thunder Clan. Still want to run? In the alchemy cauldron below, the lid of the cauldron was lifted up, and a stream of light swept towards the distance. Seeing this scene, Gu flashed, appeared in front of the stream of light like a ghost, and reached out to grab it. Roar! Facing Gu's grab, the stream of light expanded rapidly, and in the blink of an eye it turned into a huge and ferocious beast. The beast transformed by the pill, with its huge claws making a sharp sound of breaking the wind, slapped Gu with a slap. Bang! When the fists and palms collided, the ferocious beast screamed and flew backwards. Seeing the beast flying backwards, Gu smiled and chased after it again. Seeing Gu chasing after it again, a strong light burst out from the beast's body again, and its body also shrank rapidly, and in the blink of an eye, it turned into a human figure. When the light dissipated, Gu was a little stunned, because there was another Gu standing in the sky. Interesting, is this the 9th grade treasure pill, and it can actually turn into a human form? Seeing that the other party turned into his own appearance, Gu couldn't help but smile and shook his head. Roar! The 9th grade treasure pill that turned into the appearance of Gu obviously didn't understand human language. Therefore, at this moment, they could only keep making some incomprehensible roars at Gu. The 9th grade elixir is so magical, it can actually transform into a human form. Isn't it a spirit? Such changes in the sky also attracted many strange looks. The 9th grade treasure elixir is extremely rare, even for the people of the ancient clan present. So when they saw that this elixir could actually transform into a human form, they were all a little surprised. Hey, mother! How can there be 2 in the sky? Washwang! That's fake. Little Washwang looked at the 9th grade treasure elixir in the sky that transformed into Gu's appearance, and spoke in surprise. However, before he finished speaking, Care blocked his mouth with her hand. If the little guy was allowed to finish his words, the 9th grade treasure elixir might take advantage of him. In the sky, Gu did not entangle with the 9th grade treasure elixir too much. He found an opportunity, grabbed it with his palm, and blocked it, then quickly flew up and pointed his finger at the latter's forehead. Under attack, the body of the 9th grade treasure pill also trembled rapidly, and then the body shrank rapidly, turning into a round pill that was emerald green and about the size of a longan. The pill was suspended in Gu's palm. Layers of pill mist spread from the inside of the round pill and rippled around it, looking particularly magical. Gu, congratulations, congratulations. You can refine the 9th grade treasure pill at such a young age. In the future, your name will definitely spread in the mainland's medicine refining world. After Gu put the pill away, an elder of the ancient clan appeared here and congratulated him. After him, several more people appeared and congratulated Gu. Without exception, these people were all elders of the ancient clan who had reached the level of Sheng. Before, Gu might have been valued only because of his status as a genius. But now, with the ability to refine medicine as a master of the 9th grade treasure pill, he already has a strong capital that makes these Sheng masters take him seriously. Because, even Sheng masters, there are also times when they need to ask Gu, the master of precious pills. If Gu becomes the master of Xuanden, except for Gu Yuan and Gu Lai, the rest of the clan will probably compete to curry favor with Gu. My elders, I was just lucky. Facing the congratulations of everyone, Gu was humble and not arrogant at all. Husband, congratulations. Brother Gu, you are so amazing. Can you also refine a 9th grade precious pill for me to eat next time? Don't worry, I will provide the herbs myself and won't let you suffer. Next, Care, Dao Yixian, King Lin, Zhen and others also came to congratulate. Brother Gu, Xun'er also congratulates you. Your medicine refining skills have reached a higher level. In the crowd, a crisp voice sounded, and after hearing the voice, many people turned their eyes to the person who spoke. The person who spoke was Xun'er, Gu's ex-wife. Her appearance here undoubtedly made the atmosphere a little awkward. Everyone in the Gu clan knew that after Gu and Xun'er got married, they were not actually husband and wife. Moreover, it is said that during the marriage, Xun'er paid special attention to and took care of another man, which led to their final separation. Chapter 172,
promoted to semi-saint. Why is this woman here again? She is really strong mentally. Seeing Xun'er coming, Yan muttered in her heart. Her impression of Xun'er still remained at the time of their first meeting. That time, Xun'er came here suddenly, and was sarcastic to everyone, and had a proud look, which made Yan have a very bad impression of her. Of course, the main reason was Gu Fei's attitude towards Xun'er. As long as Gu Fei hated or disliked someone, Yan would also dislike him, and vice versa. On the side, Dao Yixian and Care each held their children, and did not speak, keeping silent. They both knew that Gu Fei really liked this beautiful, unworldly woman in front of him. However, they were also very sure that after what happened that time, with Gu Fei's character, he would never look back and accept Xun'er again. Sure enough, when Xun'er's voice sounded, Gu Fei just glanced at her lightly, and then turned his eyes away, continuing to chat and laugh with the elders of the ancient clan, not caring at all. Brother Gu Fei. Seeing Gu Fei's reaction, Xun'er felt very disappointed, but she still had a smile on her face. With so many people here, she must not lose her composure. Besides, she had prepared for this situation before she came. In any case, at least she came today, which was much better than not coming to congratulate. Brother Gu Fei, if you can treat me like an ordinary person, maybe I will understand that you have really let it go. And your reaction now, is it because I still occupy a great weight in your heart? So great that you can't forget about it, and can't treat me like other people. Xun'er, who had calmed down, had a lot of thoughts in her mind. At this time, she was very rational and knew that she couldn't be rude and entangled, and left at the right time and in the right way. What does she mean? Gu Fei, because of the emotional value system, even if he didn't look at Xun'er, he could see through her emotional changes just now. Gu Fei couldn't help but frown at Xun'er's several emotional value reminders. This woman was so affectionate at this time, why did she hurt others before? Forget it. Ignore him. Gu Fei shook his head, and then continued to deal with a large number of elders of the ancient clan in front of him. The 9th grade elixir in his hand was the second protagonist today besides him. Almost all the conversations of everyone revolved around him and this 9th grade elixir. 1 or 2 elders of the ancient clan have already started to reserve a 9th grade elixir. When they gather all the medicinal materials, they will probably ask Gu Fei for help. They are all Gu Fei's elders, and many of them are very good to Gu Fei. Therefore, Gu Fei is not in a good position to refuse their requests. You bunch of old guys, do you have the nerve to exploit the young people here? Gu Fei also needs to practice. So many of you are coming to ask for elixir. How can he be so busy? Suddenly, an old voice sounded from the sky outside the mountain, and a figure descended. This person was wearing a green robe, with white hair and a childlike face. On his fair face, there was always a warm smile, and he looked like a fairy. The Elder Gu Dao is here. Greetings, Elder Gu Dao. Seeing the arrival of the green-robed elder, many people, even if they were also elders of the ancient clan, bowed to greet him with great respect. Not to mention the younger generation of the ancient clan around, they all bowed to him. The identity of this green-robed elder was Gu Dao, who was known as the 3 immortals of the ancient clan, a 7-starred shen among the ancient clan, except for Gu Yuan and Gu Lai. He had the highest cultivation. Elder Gu Dao. Gu Fei also bowed to the Elder Gu Dao. It must be said that Gu Dao's words just now solved a big problem for him. If Gu Fei really agreed to the requests of those elders, he would probably have to become a robot for refining medicine for a long time. Gu Fei, you are very good. Gu Dao had been in seclusion in the past few years. Now that he had just come out of seclusion, he heard that the younger generation of the clan had achieved such a dazzling achievement, and he was extremely happy. According to Gu Fei's promotion speed, he will definitely be able to shoulder the responsibility of the ancient clan in the future. After that, no one asked Gu Fei to help refine the elixir. After everyone left, Gu Fei teased the child for a while, and then his thoughts were on the 9th grade treasure pill again. Gu Fei was indeed a bit lucky in refining the 9th grade treasure pill this time. He was not 100% sure that he could refine the 9th grade treasure pill. The energy and the elixir reached the 9th grade, and Gu Fei's cultivation was stuck at the peak of the 9th turn zone for several months. He wondered if he could rely on this elixir to smoothly advance to the semi-saint level. Care, Dao Yixian, I need to go into seclusion for a while. During this time, Kair was very insightful. Before Gu finished speaking, she knew what Gu would say next, and she replied very considerately, "Don't worry, husband, cultivation is important. Now Yixian and I will take good care of the children. I will also help you take care of the children." Yan said subconsciously, "Yes, Daddy, Aunt Yan is very kind to me." Yan said seriously while eating the sugar pill that Yan stuffed into her mouth. Hearing this name, Kair and Yixian looked at each other and smiled knowingly. After explaining some things, Gu came to the retreat again. Although swallowing the 9th grade treasure pill is not as troublesome as the 9th grade mysterious pill, it is still necessary to do more preparation. Gu took out the medicine cauldron again and refined some pills to neutralize the medicinal properties. When everything was ready, these pills were mixed with the 9th grade treasure pill and swallowed by Gu. The energy contained in the 9th grade treasure pill has exceeded the total energy in the body of Gu, a peak 9-star Sun strongman. As soon as the pill was swallowed, a huge energy burst out, which seemed to have the sign of bursting Gu's belly. Fortunately, Gu was well prepared, and those neutralizing pills began to play their role. In addition, Gu had the help of the strange fire, and stabilized the situation in time. "Refine it for me." Gu poured his whole body into it, controlling the strange fire to refine the huge medicinal power in his body. Countless pure energies began to merge into his limbs and bones. Gu's body, which was at the peak of the 9th Zun, seemed to have reached a saturated state. If he could not break through the semi-saint level, then no matter how much energy he had, he could not absorb it. The word semi-saint is also known as the abyss of despair for all the peaked Zun masters. In the world, most of the masters who have reached the peak of the Zun level stop at the edge of the semi-saint level, but no matter how hard they practice, they still cannot really step into the so-called semi-saint level in the end. Only by stepping into the semi-saint level can you have the qualifications to step into the saint level. It can even be said that the semi-saint is the most important cornerstone before stepping into the saint level. If you can't step into the semi-saint level, then you will never think of becoming a real saint. When the Emperor gradually became a legendary memory existing in history, the simple word saint represents the peak of this world. Chapter 173 Yan Sorrow. Cultivation has no time. This time, after Gu swallowed a 9th grade precious pill, he went into the longest retreat. For more than a year, he never came out once, and this is common for other people at this level of cultivation. "Why hasn't Dad come out yet?" One day, little Yan ran to the cave where Gu was in retreat and complained. Shuang, who was already 3 years old, still followed Yan like a follower. "Sister, Mom said that Dad is going to break through a big realm of cultivation this time, so we should understand him more and be more obedient." Shuang listened to his sister's words and repeated his mother's words very seriously. "Ah, you little guy, now you dare to say that your sister is not obedient, right?" Hearing this, Yan turned around, stretched out her hand and grabbed Shuang's little ear directly. "No, no, sister, you are very obedient." "Sister, don't grab it first, I was wrong." Shuang was very scared when his sister grabbed his ear, and shook his head repeatedly to deny it. Boom. At this moment, the huge stone door in front of the two little guys suddenly opened. Hearing the sound, the two little guys turned their heads and found that their missed father was already standing at the door of the cave. "Daddy, you finally came out." Seeing Gu, Yan let go of Shuang's ears and ran over happily. "Yan, Shuang, you have grown so tall." Looking at the changes in the children, Gu's face was full of smiles. As before, he walked with two little guys in each hand. "Brother Gu, you finally came out." After a while, Yan appeared in front of Gu. As early as when Gu came out of seclusion, Yan had already sensed it at the first time. Then, Dao Yixian, Kair, Kinglin and others also came here. The three of them have made obvious progress in the past few years. Kair entered the 4-star Zun as early as half a year ago, and Yixian and Kinglin have also become 1-star Zun strongmen. It seems that everyone has made great progress. Seeing the current state of everyone, Gu was very happy. In this world where the strong are respected, it is natural for him to want to see the people around him have the ability to protect themselves. And this time,
After he completely digested the energy of the 9th grade treasure pill during his retreat, he naturally advanced to the semi-saint level, and he skipped the primary and intermediate levels at one time and reached the advanced semi-saint level. And now, he is not even 25 years old. This growth rate, looking at the entire ancient Tate clans, no one can surpass it. At present, the only young generation who can really suppress Gu Fei cultivation is Lei Dong of the Thunder clan. Even Gu Fei, who is known as the first person of the younger generation of the Soul clan, is 7 or 8 years older than Gu Fei, and has been equaled by Gu Fei. For 3 years, Lei Dong has been training in the Thunder Pool. It is estimated that when he comes out, he will be a Sheng directly, or even a 2-starred Sheng. Lei Dong, I hope you don't show too much surprise when we meet next time. Thinking of Lei Dong's eyes when he left last time, Gu Fei smiled. After coming out of retreat, Gu Fei has been accompanying his family. Wang is still very young, and it often takes a long time for him to see Gu Fei. Under normal circumstances, they are not very close. However, Queen Medusa taught him very well, and Wang, who was only 3 years old, was very sensible. He understood that his father's retreat was for the purpose of better protecting everyone in the future. Brother Gu Fei, I want to go back to Dragon Island in a while. Half a month after Gu Fei came out of retreat, Yan suddenly found him and talked about leaving. Gu Fei also understood her. After all, it has been a long time since she left Dragon Island this time, and her cultivation has improved. She is eager to unify the Dragon Clan and does not want the Dragon Clan to continue to split. Now your 4-starred Sheng cultivation is very stable, and you do have the strength to go back to deal with things. However, wait a little longer. I have a way to make you break through to the late stage of the 4-starred Sheng in a short time. Brother Gu Fei, are you planning to refine a 9th grade elixir for me? Hearing Gu Fei's words, Yan's eyes suddenly lit up. No, Gu Fei shook his head gently. If it's not a 9th grade elixir, then what is it? Yan was puzzled. With her current strength, no matter how many 8th grade elixirs she took, she wouldn't be able to improve much. I'll tell you when I get there. Gu Fei kept it a secret. The opportunity he wanted to find this time was the yellow spring steel of the 9 Netherworld Python clan. Inside, there was a trace of the residual soul of the Demon Saint, which contained a few drops of the Demon Saint's blood. The yellow spring Demon Saint, in ancient times, had once stepped half a foot into the Emperor level. The blood left by a strong man who reached that level is undoubtedly very attractive to the Saint strongman. Only a small portion of it can allow Gu Fei to successfully break through to the real Saint. Moreover, in the yellow spring steel, there is an extremely powerful soul attack fighting skill. The yellow spring Sky Wrath, the yellow spring Finger, cuts off life and death. The yellow spring Wrath shatters people's souls. The yellow spring Sky Wrath, to be precise, is a sound wave fighting skill, and it is a high-level sound wave fighting skill of the heavenly level. It is recorded in ancient books that in ancient times, the wrath of the underworld was so terrifying that even some Sheng-level warriors would turn pale at the mere mention of it. Among the peak warriors who fell in the hands of the underworld Demon Saint, at least 9 out of 10 were killed by the Demon Saint's wrath of the underworld. Gu Fei's current soul realm has reached the requirements for practicing the wrath of the underworld, mastering the soul attack method. Even if Gu Fei is only a high-level semi-saint, he can still threaten the warriors below the 2-starred Sheng. The location is still in the beast domain, and it is related to the 9 Nether Earth Python clan. Seeing that Yan was still puzzled, Gu Fei continued to add a sentence to satisfy her curiosity. It is related to those ugly legless creatures again. Yan complained subconsciously. However, before she finished speaking, she suddenly realized something. Not far behind her, Kair was walking towards this side with Wang. I hope Sister Kair didn't hear it. Yan was like a child who had done something wrong, and she didn't dare to turn around to look at Kair. Kair, you're just in time. Gu Fei smiled and waved, signaling Kair to come over. Husband, what's wrong? Kair asked curiously, and glared at Yan while speaking. Kair, Yan and I are going to the beast domain. You should come with me. There is an opportunity for you there, Gu Fei explained with a smile. As a 7-colored sky-swallowing python, Kair can reach the semi-saint level at the fastest speed as long as she has enough energy, and the beast domain just happens to be such a place that can allow Kair to quickly advance. Chapter 174 Heading to the Netherworld. Go to the beast domain? An opportunity that suits me? Could it be that, my husband, you are planning to take me to the 9 Nether Yellow Spring this time? Kair had learned a lot of secrets about the continent during this period of time, and asked. Yes, it is the 9 Nether Yellow Spring. Gu Fei smiled and nodded. The 9 Nether Yellow Spring is located deep in the earth. It is generally the territory of the 9 Nether Earth Python, and they also regard it as a holy place. Under normal circumstances, if there are 9 Nether Earth Python clan members who want to advance, they will go to the 9 Nether Yellow Spring and soak in it, which will make the breakthrough much smoother. Although the spring water in the 9 Nether Yellow Spring is extremely cold, for the snake-shaped monsters that are already inclined to the cold, it is one of the best places in the world for body training. Husband, the 9 Nether Yellow Spring is the place of the 9 Nether Earth Python clan, one of the 3 major families in the beast domain. When are you going to go there? Kair continued to ask. Let's go right away. With Gu Fei's current confidence, although the world is big, there are not many places that he cannot go. Of course, this confidence mainly comes from Yan, a forced hardship. As long as Yan goes with them, the people of the 9 Nether Earth Python clan can't threaten them at all. Let's set off without delay. Yan was a little excited. The last time she went to the beast domain, that opportunity made her sorted shine like riding a rocket. I don't know what opportunity this time will be. Next, the 3 of them explained it and left in a low profile like last time, letting Xiao and King Lin and others claim that they were in seclusion. The real base camp of the 9 Nether Earth Python clan is deep underground. Of course, on the ground, they also have many branches. The number of this race is the largest among the 3 major magic beast families in the beast domain, but the large number naturally leads to their impure bloodline. According to the estimate of the elders of the 9 Nether Earth Python clan, if the situation continues, I am afraid that after 100 years, the ancient bloodline possessed by the 9 Nether Earth Python clan will be exhausted. By that time, the 9 Nether Earth Python clan will also be reduced to a situation similar to that of ordinary magic beasts. For this matter, the 9 Netherworld Python clan had a lot of arguments and disagreements. However, if there is no supplement of ancient blood, and they continue to reproduce at that crazy speed, that day will come sooner or later. The 9 Netherworld Abyss is a main passage to the underground world, and it is also occupied by the 9 Netherworld Python clan, with strict defense. The 9 Netherworld Abyss is ahead. Yan, it's up to you. 10 days later, Gu Fei, Yan, and Queen Medusa landed outside the abyss. Don't worry, they can't detect us entering. Yan waved her sleeves lightly, and a force of space wrapped Gu Fei and Kair disappeared from the spot, and entered the underground world silently. The terrain of the underground world is extremely complex, but Gu Fei had been well prepared this time and had a detailed map. In just a few minutes, the 3 of them arrived deep underground, and they also passed through a series of snake tribes along the way. About half an hour later, they finally arrived at the base camp of the 9 Netherworld Python clan, the Underworld Snake Ground Vein. The Nether Snake Vein is the headquarters of the 9 Netherworld Python clan, and is also a holy place in the minds of many snake tribes. As a holy place, the defense of the Netherworld Snake Vein is naturally extremely strict. Even if you are a snake person, you cannot enter it if your status is not high enough. Husband, the 9 Netherworld Python clan is indeed one of the 3 major magic beast families. Although it is at the bottom of the 3 major magic beast families, there are still many strong people. After a while, the 3 of them appeared on the top of a mountain again. Queen Medusa couldn't help but sighed. This scale is so many times stronger than my snake tribe. Sister Kair, this is nothing. When you arrive at my ancient dragon island, you will find that the 9 Netherworld Python clan is just a sham. There are many people like this Xun'er in our dragon clan. Okay, when the time comes, you, the dragon king of the dragon clan, must entertain me well. Yan introduced her own race, seeming to be quite proud, and Queen Medusa also echoed her words. In terms of overall strength, The 9 Nether Earth Python clan is indeed far behind the Taixu ancient dragon clan. Oh, I'm not a dragon emperor yet. Yan was a little embarrassed. Okay, let's go to the 9 Nether Yellow Spring first. Gu Fei smiled as he listened to the conversation between the two, and then gave an instruction. As soon as the voice fell, Yan used the power of space again to wrap the three people tightly. The space shook, and the figures of the three people disappeared strangely. With Yan's control of the power of space, even a 5-star Sheng would not be able to find them at a distance. In the deepest part of the Nether Snake Vein, there is a huge dark ravine. This ravine is 100 feet wide and bottomless. An astonishing cold air, like a strong wind, keeps whistling up. Ordinary people will feel frozen in the blood and even the chi in their bodies just standing here. And at the bottom of this deep ravine is the holy pool of the 9 Nether Earth Python clan, 9 Nether Yellow Spring. This place is also one of the destinations of Gu Fei and his 3 companions. There are no snakemen guarding the deep ravine, because everyone knows that the cold wind that keeps whistling out of the dark deep ravine is the most natural guard. Facing these winds, even Zong masters dare not go deep easily. Once they encounter an accident, they will sleep here forever. Swish. When the cold wind kept blowing, the space here suddenly twisted slightly. Immediately, 3 figures slowly emerged. Naturally Gu Fei, Yan, and Xun'er. Looking at the dark abyss below, Gu Fei smiled slightly and did not stop. They broke through the cold wind and rushed into the bottom of the dark abyss. The ravine is very deep, and the speed of ordinary Zun masters may take an hour to walk. However, with the speed of Gu Fei and his 3 companions, they saw the ground of the deep ravine in a few minutes. When approaching the ground, an extremely large lake appeared in the sight of the 3. The cold breath that was enough to freeze the fighting spirit in a person's body was coming from that huge lake. The lake was extremely huge, and the water inside the lake was dark yellow. A stream of light yellow mixed with blood continued to seep out, and finally rose up and rushed to the sky with a roar. This is the legendary 9 Nether Yellow Spring. Gu Fei slowly approached the huge lake. The closer he got to the 9 Nether Yellow Spring, Gu Fei could feel a hidden cold force constantly drilling into his body. Chapter 175, Conquer Yaming. Stopping beside the 9 Nether Yellow Spring, Gu Fei squatted down and touched the lake water with his palm. At this moment, a deep yellow ice crystal quickly climbed up along his arm. Fortunately, Gu Fei had the strange fire by his side, and instantly melted the condensed ice crystals. Yan, it's very cold here. I'm afraid that even the people of the 9 Nether Earth Python can't stand it for a long time. Therefore, except for special circumstances, generally no one will come here. You two wait here for me. I'll go to the bottom of the 9 Nether Yellow Spring. Husband, be careful. Plop. Gu Fei gave the two a few instructions, and then moved his body and crashed directly into the 9 Nether Yellow Spring, rushing to the bottom like lightning. The cold power in the 9 Nether Yellow Spring is very terrifying. Gu Fei only descended a little for a while, and he felt that this cold air could threaten some low-leveled Zun cultivators. However, with his current cultivation level of high-level semi-saints, it would be a bit ridiculous if he couldn't enter such a place. Hiss. After a while, a subtle strange sound suddenly came into his ears, and at that moment, Gu Fei realized that the water flow behind him suddenly became faster. In Gu Fei's field of vision, deep in the yellow spring, a dark fog quickly spread towards him. Those were not the so-called black fog, but countless small snakes with black bodies covered with strange scales. And the harsh and hissing sound around was also made by these strange snakes. Swish. When these strange snakes were still a long distance away from Gu Fei, they opened their ferocious mouths, and countless dark black water arrows were ejected from the mouths of these strange snakes. The humming sound of breaking water shook the surrounding lake water to make a low explosion sound. Get out. Gu Fei took action and shot out several hot energies to repel some of the strange snakes, but the opponent was too numerous. Gu Fei did not get entangled too much. He accelerated downwards. Not long after, a little light appeared at the end. At this depth, the strange snake seemed a little afraid and did not continue to follow. Is this the bottom of the 9 Netherworld? Soon, a huge sandy ground appeared in front of Gu Fei. Save me. Suddenly, a subtle groaning sound came into Gu Fei's ears through the water. Hoo-la-la. Gu Fei grabbed his palm downwards, and a palm print was immediately left on the sandy ground. A huge iron chain buried under the sand and stones, which was 100 feet long, was exposed to Guf's sight. Guf grabbed it in the air and the iron chain was slowly pulled out. As the iron chain was pulled out, the rest of the ground suddenly shook, and 3 more huge iron chains rose from the mud. In the center of the iron chain, there was a large mass of dark mud, and as the mud dissipated, the things in it gradually appeared. It was a person with a dry body, like a skeleton. It's really a torture to be locked in this dark underworld for so many years. Looking at the skeleton-like figure, Guf sighed in his heart. This inhuman torture has lasted for so many years. I don't know how he survived. Save me, save me. If you save me, I will let the entire 9 Nether Earth Python clan serve you as their master. When Guf looked at the dry figure, the latter's deep eyes suddenly opened, and he looked at Guf with some joy. Serve me as your master? Hearing the promise made by the skeleton-like man, Guf hesitated for a moment. As a genius of the ancient clan, he might inherit the position of the patriarch of the ancient clan in the future. He would not look down on ordinary people who wanted to follow him. However, people like Yao Ming do have some advantages. He was originally the patriarch of the 9 Nether Earth Python clan, and his cultivation level has reached the level of a 2-starred Sheng, which is considered a good strong man. Even as powerful as the ancient clan, they would not be so arrogant as to refuse the loyalty of a Sheng. The previous struggle and shouting seemed to have consumed a lot of the skeleton's strength, and even his breathing was a little rapid. In the 4 huge chains, extremely cold energy continued to be transmitted, consuming the fighting spirit generated in the former's body. The skeleton was always in an extremely weak state, but at the same time, this consumption would not directly harm his life. In this way, he could only survive in this permanent consumption, which was even more painful than killing him. My friend, I am the patriarch of the 9 Nether Earth Python clan, Yao Ming. As long as you can save me, I will definitely fulfill my promise just now and serve you as my master. When Guf hesitated, the skeleton-like figure spoke again. Now you are not the patriarch of the 9 Nether Earth Python clan. That Yao genius is. Guf smiled and shook his head. That bastard Yao Ocean was the one who used a vicious trick to seize my position and sealed me in the bottom of the 9 Netherworld. This beast has caused me to suffer from the cold power for hundreds of years. If I am lucky enough to see the light of day again in this life, I, Yao Ming, will make him live a life worse than death. When the 3 words Yao Ocean came to his ears, the man who called himself Yao Ming's eyes instantly turned blood red. Guf was naturally very clear about the grudge between the two. Yao Ming was strong and was the most orthodox candidate for the leader of the 9 Netherworld Python clan. Yao Ocean also understood this in his heart. He usually behaved respectfully to Yao Ming, but secretly, he was plotting a vicious plot. It must be said, Yao Ming was sealed here for hundreds of years, and this end was indeed quite tragic. I will help you get out, but the battle for the leader of the clan depends on you. Guf sighed lightly and agreed to Yao Ming's request. I have the 9 Netherworld staff, which is the token of the leader of the 9 Netherworld Python clan. As long as I can escape from the bottom of the Yellow Spring and get rid of Yao Ocean, I will be the new leader. Hearing this, Yao Ming quickly showed his value to Guf. My friend, you just need to help me smash the Yellow Springian stone, and I can get out. Yes, Guf nodded lightly. Then he found the other end of the 4 chains, a yellow Springian stone containing a strong yin and cold power. Bang! After many attacks, the yellow Springian stone finally broke apart. At this moment, Yao Ming exerted his strength suddenly, and the chains were broken. While Yao Ming was breaking the seal, a magnificent palace deep in the netherworld snake vein was extremely lively. On the throne of the hall sat a man in black. The black-clothed man's eyes opened and closed slightly, and the brilliance flashed, like a poisonous snake that could kill people in an instant. Next to the man, 2 women with enchanting figures were kneading his body carefully, and his big hands were constantly moving on the soft bodies of the 2 women. Suddenly, the black-clothed man's slightly closed eyes suddenly opened, with a touch of shock in his eyes. The seal is broken. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, Every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.